All right, what's up, everybody? Stream Elements bot is here. Cool. Thought I deactivated that, but all right. Brian, Mike, Steven, what's up? Other Mike. Did y'all see the new Facebook cover? What's up, Alex? Made a new Facebook cover today. And some people are concerned, I think, on why I put Tucker Carlson on it.
And his car. They also stole his car.
Who?
John Wick. John Wick 3 trailer, like the last line is like, all of this because of a puppy. And like, well, they also stole his really nice Mustang.
Yeah.
But yes.
That really pissed him off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I identify with him because if someone killed my dog in front of me,
yeah,
and then stole my car,
if I were an elite assassin, yeah, I would wipe them all out.
I too would go on a 3-movie murder spree.
Absolutely, 100%. Guy's just trying to mind his own damn business.
He was
just trying to retire.
They were like, "Hey, dude, can we buy your car?" And he's like, "No, it's not for sale." And then they come in, break into his house, beat the shit out of him, kill his dog, take his car.
Not his fault they were tied to a freaking crime family.
This is true. When they found out what they did, they were like, "Dude, yeah, no, we're not helping you. We're done."
Yep, I remember when the dad was like, "Oh shit."
Killed us.
Oh my god.
It's a good movie. Action sequences are well scripted.
Everything about John Wick. It should be an Oscar winner. That's how you know the Oscars are bull. John Wick hasn't won one.
And 3 looks like it's going to hold up, which might be nice to see a series go 3 movies without like falling into the ground.
No, I logged off of Discord a little while ago before you posted the Limerick thing, so I'll take a look at it in a little bit.
Casey Hendrickson, News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Hello.
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Hey, if you want to save 50% just by going to shoot at a range, it's indoors, climate controlled. You don't have to be wet outside. You can go to Second Amendment Arms and Range. And again, you get half off just by mentioning me. Go to secondamendmentarms.net for more information and contact info. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I ran into this interesting article. I don't know how this kind of flew under the radar, but apparently Indiana teachers say that police officers shot them during an active shooter training drill, and they shot them with pellets, airsoft pellets. So, all right, here we go. Teachers at Meadow Lawn Elementary School in Monticello, Indiana, allege that they were pelted with airsoft gun bullets by police during an active shooter drill in January. Gail Zaharalis, a representative for the Indiana State Teachers Association, testified about the incident at an Indiana Senate hearing on Wednesday. During active shooter drill, 4 teachers at a time were taken into a room, told to crouch down, and were shot execution style with some sort of projectiles, resulting in injuries to the extent that welts appeared because it's airsoft. The blood was drawn, according to the teachers union. So this is what the Indiana State Teachers Association wrote on Twitter. During active shooter drills, 4 teachers at a time, taken into rooms, shot, blood was drawn, yada, yada. Teachers were terrified, but were told not to tell anyone what happened. Teachers waiting outside that heard the screaming were brought into the room 4 at a time, and the shooting process was repeated. Okay. I have a lot of questions about this, but we're going to continue with the article anyway. 2 anonymous teachers confirmed what happened to the Indianapolis Star. They told us this is what happens if you just cower and do nothing, one of the teachers said. Aha! So the police are saying, all right, if you just go ahead and cower in the corner of the room, this is what we're going to do. We're going to execute you. They shot all of us across our backs. I was hit 4 times, somebody said. The incident took place as part of an active shooter training program called Alice. Now, Alice, we've talked about many times on the program, alert, lockdown, inform, counter, and evacuate. It's a nationwide program, though it usually does not involve shooting teachers with pellet guns. County Sheriff Bill Brooks' officers oversaw the training, though he couldn't go into specifics because he only took office that month and said that he was not there when the airsoft guns were used. So it wouldn't be fair necessarily to blame him. He just came into office. His program's already been in place. Still, Brooks offered a confusing defense of the practice to the Indianapolis Star, while seeming, this is Reason.com, who obviously is not, they're not high on law enforcement. While seemingly refusing to confirm that teachers were shot at all, he also said the teachers all knew they could be because it's a shooting exercise. Now, when they were doing this at my schools, when I was in school, long before school shootings and mass shootings and things like that were a national phenomenon, we were doing it in Las Vegas. And so, yeah, I think I had it 2 or 3 times in my school career. And they would come in. I mean, it was a full tactical thing. Kids didn't know anything about it, you know, that sort of stuff. I think we were only warned one time by a teacher that something's going to happen. Just relax. It's not real. All right. So, you know, these things kind of happen. And they come in, they do a sweep, and then they bounce out. And you're like, okay, what the heck was that? What's going on? So it's a different program than what I experienced when I was younger. To my knowledge, I don't remember anybody being simulated, executed, or anything like that at my schools. It seemed more for the officers to come in, do sweeps, that sort of thing, and kind of get a lay of the school. So that way they had an idea of what they were dealing with when they were to respond to something like that. It is a soft, round projectile, he told the Indianapolis Star, the plastic pellets used in airsoft guns. All right, anybody out there play airsoft? Joe's hands up, too. Hey, Joe, do they tickle when you get shot with them?
They don't tickle.
They don't tickle. They're not paintballs, but they don't tickle.
Nope.
Okay, paintballs hurt way worse, but they don't tickle. But there's a reason that you wear masks and stuff like that when you have the airsoft, because, you know, obviously you can cause some damage. And some of them said that some blood was actually drawn. But anyway, he says the key here is soft. The practice ended, he added, after a teacher complained. I wonder why a teacher complained about being shot. I wonder why. Now, for the record, I think this might be a little bit over the top, but I also think this is very amusing. Okay, I just want everybody to understand. I've got my hypocrite card out. It has been laminated, and I'm definitely one of those people out there. But you know, I understand where the officers are coming from that perspective, and I understand that these types of trainings. I agree with training realism, but at the same time, did the teachers sign off on being shot? Was it necessary to execution style shoot them at close range? Airsoft pellets don't tickle. Okay, could you just have gone bang? You're dead now, or was it necessary to actually shoot them? So, not that I don't think that this is somewhat amusing. The ISTA went public with the allegations as part of an effort to amend a proposed school safety bill to clarify that teachers shouldn't be shot. How about they volunteer? If they want to play an active role in that, then they can play an active role in that. You know, maybe that would be. They should be using sim rounds anyway, so that way people can see, you know, actual color on people's bodies when they are shot. Just have some teachers volunteer to be subjects with that. Don't hit teachers who don't want to be a participant. It seems like a pretty reasonable demand. After all, it is hard to understand how shooting teachers with pellet guns makes anybody safer. It doesn't. No, it really doesn't. Incidents like these highlight the oftentimes needless and extreme measures taken during active shooter drills. In 2014, Lenore Skenazy wrote for Reason about armed police who swarmed into a middle school in Florida without warning teachers or students that it was a drill. Now, I talked about that case. I actually covered that case. We had, I think, an hour-long discussion about that. A lot of people were calling, including teachers. And a lot of those teachers were supportive of the exercise because, again, training realism. And you want to have everybody in the school also kind of understand what it would be like in a real scenario. Because if you don't train for it to be real, then you're less likely to react appropriately, right? If you know it's coming, you're like, all right, whatever, big deal. But if you don't know it's coming, you get a more genuine reaction. Now, with that said, it can also give people heart attacks. People can panic. People can have asthma attacks. It can be a real safety issue. So anyway, the fear that teachers might suffer heart attacks. Oh, hey, that's actually in the column. The fear that teachers might suffer heart attacks, that kids might experience psychotic breakdowns, and somebody with his own weapon might shoot real bullets in defense. No, that's not possible because you're not allowed to have weapons on school campus. So nobody's going to have a gun on school campus. None of that seemed to occur to our peacekeepers, nor did the notion that distraught parents might race frantically to the school, endangering anybody in their path. All valid points. Reason's Jesse Walker has argued these sorts of overly realistic simulations don't prepare students and teachers for disasters as much as they pointlessly reenact past tragedies. Half right. But again, we're talking about reason. And when it comes to firearms and border security, they're not very reasonable. Okay. They're also not terribly effective, as Erica Christakis has written in The Atlantic. That's one individual who's written one article in The Atlantic. So, there you go. We don't know if they're terribly effective because until you have a school that has been having these realistic drills actually get hit with a real incident, we will never know if those drills are effective. Much like a military training in specific tactics for, decades, you don't know it's actually going to be effective until they hit the battlefield. And when they hit the battlefield, you find out which tactics work, which don't. You adjust your strategy based on that. So we don't actually know if they're effective. Okay, so it's important that everybody understand that. Alice is put together to be a nationwide program that we have these kind of standards so that law enforcement and educational personnel all across the country understand what is supposed to happen, and then everybody has a better idea of how to respond to a real situation like this. So very interesting. Indiana teachers, again, complaining about all of this, testifying before the state Senate about it this week. Take your phone calls on this and much more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's.
Breaking news and weather station.
See, I think that they should have sim rounds, but that's just me.
25 years of exceptional food, tremendous service, and
But
great people.
they're going in with
today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
like airsoft guns, then the shooting with real guns part of it doesn't apply because they also have fake weapons on their person.
If you sim rounds, even if you know it's a drill, you at least have the visual of, oh, hey, Mrs. Johnson's been shot now, and she's got, a mark.
Or you can use paintball.
Yeah, but I like sim rounds better. Hurt more.
That's not the point of the drill, Casey.
Yes, it is.
You could use paintball. The paintball.
What up?
I'm gonna bring some equipment tomorrow so we can try to still do video stuff at Monterey.
What time are you getting there?
11. Okay. No, I mean, there.
There's an old way of doing
All right.
That's
things.
kind of what I was planning.
Honest
But
communication,
so I got this.
a handshake.
Is whatever you normally play, if it's a video,
Day in and day
is
out,
it just a
from pouring
YouTube thing?
concrete to
Yeah,
placing
usually.
the
Channel, would you like to
talk to
The
Casey?
foundation of
So I got a Blu-ray
everything
player
is
that
done
doesn't
by
work
crafting
anymore.
pride
And
and
if I connect it to the device via HDMI and connect it to their Wi-Fi,
mission to build their
if
community.
your thing is connected over Wi-Fi, you should be able to stream whatever YouTube video you're playing on your computer.
Unfortunately, I can't put you through that. It's not our topic.
Core building systems
But
with locations
we'll
right
kick the
here in
tires and see if it's going to work.
with spaces
Otherwise,
I won't plan on it working, but if it does, cool.
for a metal building.
Sure, but I would recommend you just call tomorrow at 5 o'clock during
Just try to be creative.
Yeah.
Since it
There's an
didn't,
old way of
I guess
doing
it
things.
did work.
And maybe that's why
But they
Mid-States has
didn't like
worked their
the
way to one of the
location.
highest volume metal building contractors.
Well, and it really didn't work because they,
Okay.
when we had asked them, they're like, oh, yeah, you just plug in the HDMI and it'll work. But then they didn't have the remote.
And then the audio too was the issue. You said,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that they didn't have a remote. So we were trying to navigate it with the menu on the TV, and we couldn't figure it out. With the remote, you hit the input button, but they don't have that on the TV. So because they didn't have the remote, we weren't able to get the TV to work. So I spent like 15 minutes dicking around with the TV, so we lost that time, kind of looked a little silly doing it.
Pass
But
that on to him, man.
Engage with anybody on our staff, realize that you're dealing with true professionals, and they absolutely love what they do, and they want to help you and take care of your needs. Whether it's a small job or whether it's a $5,000 or $10,000 job, I want somebody
serves them right for being teachers. Jesus.
Wow.
My God. Oh, man, Steven, shame on you.
And that their job, no matter
Thank you, Brian. Brian likes the headline for the show.
What's the headline?
Indiana teachers complain that cops shoot them during drill. Something like that.
Now that those snowy winter days seem to be behind us, and we've had the
on
taste
the
of
Facebook
60-degree
with
weather,
Concord's
you can finally see
union
how
rep,
harsh
head of their
winter's
union,
been to your backyard.
their
The
main
time is
union.
now to plan for your backyard.
Connection.
Concord schools?
Yes.
Okay.
Believe outdoor
So,
living
I
can
wonder
be
what he would-
beautiful as well as practical.
Because he
That's why when it
teaches,
comes to getting the supplies needed
he's
for
very
landscaping
politically
or entertaining,
sound because
Kurt
he's
Outdoor Living
a
has what you
teacher
need.
and teaches
During the
social
month of
studies.
March,
Mhm.
in-stock tools by Wolverine, Easy Cut, and Marshalltown will be 20% off. Kurt has a variety of bulk mulch, made with 100%.
I mean, if you're going to do it in front of the students.
A variety of colors and textures.
Don't do it in the closet.
The way they did it sounds really weird to me. The way that they just brought them in, kneeled them down, shot them execution styles.
Yeah,
It's strange to me.
I think their point was you're going to feel it, so there's going to be some kind of a connection mentally with this is what would happen versus, oh, just get down and bang and you're dead. And you go, okay, I guess I'm dead now. As opposed to, bam, shit.
I get that too, but it's just like,
But you should have done it in the cafeteria in front of all of the students before you started shooting all of the students with the pellets.
All you need is the drive to earn a certificate and the fastest growing.
Where's your soup cans now? Bah, 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 bah. This is a movie scene, you know that, right? Like, we could totally do this in a movie. Just some police department goes over the top on the training. They go through, they corral all of the kids, they make it into a hostage situation. Just start
if they're
executing.
walking around with airsoft and they paint their tips black, it would be pretty convincing if they did it.
Yep.
If they don't fire a single round, it might work.
Aaron Johnson just tuning in. What the heck is that headline? It is what it is, man.
Scroll back and see.
It is what it is. Boom, boom, boom. I love to hear you say, wayo. Wayo.
Click, click, boom.
Click, click, boom, yeah. You have all sorts of songs tied to this.
None of them really in good taste, I don't think.
Yeah, Boom, Boom, Boom's a good tune, man. One hit wonder.
And his morning news with V. Mark McGill on News Talk 95.3 MNC.
Can we get one of these drills? Hold on a sec. Can we get the Mishawaka PD or the St. Joseph County Police Department to come in here and do like one of these active drills in this building and shoot every radio host in here, please? Every single on-air personality. Can we please shoot them? Please. Every single one of them. I mean, not real bullets, airsoft. We're talking about airsoft. You're just tuning in. You're not understanding what's going on. We're talking about this this allegation from Indiana teachers. Where were they again? What's the city? Hold on a second. I'm scrolling to the top here. Monticello, Indiana. So teachers at Meadow Lawn Elementary School say that they were executed by local law enforcement during an Alice active shooter drill. And they were shot with airsoft, and they're not happy about it. Airsoft does not tickle. For those of you who have never been shot with an airsoft pellet, they don't tickle. They did ask the police chief, I think was his title. They asked him about it, and he had just taken office, okay? So this is like not on this, it's kind of on his watch, but it's really not on his watch. But at the same time, he issued a statement. He's like, the key here is airsoft. The word is soft. They don't. It's like, sorry, they don't tickle. Okay, and a couple of teachers said, "Look, blood was drawn." Yeah, well, at least 300 FPS. I mean, then you have people who modify them. I mean, so it's, you know, it doesn't tickle. All right, it's not a pleasant experience to be shot with these things. But then you have some of these teachers who were executed. Okay, they said they were brought into a room 4 at a time and executed, and the officers said, "This is what happens if you don't resist," or whatever. And I said, I understand why the officers are trying to create this realism and trying to, you know, put it in people's heads that, hey, this is a real thing. This could happen. But at the same time, I also appreciate what the teachers are saying. It's like, yo, we didn't know we were going to be shot with airsoft today. Kind of not happy about that. That's a fair point, too. 574-25-95-95-3. Tyler, welcome to the program. Good afternoon. In here. There you are.
I work for... hey,
what's up?
I work for a local hospital. We've done the exact same thing.
Yeah.
We had live drills with the airsoft and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to like wear the protective mask before you go in and do the live drill, and you sign like a waiver. Or basically, I think they said if you have like asthma or heart condition or something and want to opt out, you can.
Yeah, that's what I would assume. There's nothing about any of that in any of the articles that I've read about this.
Yeah, and then they said, you know, we're doing this live because if you're hiding around like a table or something and part of you is exposed and you get shot, like it's a real deal. So they want to make it as real as possible.
Right.
And we had some people complain about the airsoft hurting too much. And then they just went and got the battery operated automatic Nerf guns and just started shooting us with Nerf guns for the later classes. So
okay,
it wasn't that big a deal. Like people, you know, we just moved on to a different type of ammunition. That was it.
Now, so did anybody like seriously complain, like I'm going to sue, anything like that? Or just a couple of people going, it hurts a little bit more than I thought it was going to hurt?
I mean, we had some people get welts for sure.
Well, yeah, it's airsoft, but
they didn't like say they're going to sue or anything. They're just like, hey, this kind of hurts. Let's just try looking at something else. They didn't make a huge deal out of it.
You know,
I thought the training was really valuable.
Well, and that's just it. Like, I totally appreciate what the police department is trying to do here. But at the same time, if the teachers weren't expecting this, now the police are saying, well, this was an active drill. They knew that the possibility of getting shot was there. And I don't know who's necessarily telling the truth here, but if that's the case, if they knew that this was coming and it was a possibility that they were going to get shot, then okay, then why are you complaining about it? But if they didn't know, I could see why they would be upset.
Yeah, I could definitely see why they'd be upset. But like, at least in our case, we were like thoroughly forewarned, and you know, everybody was pretty cool about it.
Now, again, they don't tickle, but you should also know that like 8, 9, 10-year-old kids play this. So it's, you know, if you're an adult running around and going, oh my God, this is traumatic, I got shot with an airsoft. it's really not. It's not gonna do you any favors. But
no, we didn't have any of that. Everybody was cool about it. Even people that did get welts, they were laughing about it.
Okay, well that's good. That's good to hear. All right, man. Appreciate the call. Thank you much.
Have a good day. Bye.
All right. I had a buddy, first time he shot a paintball gun. You know, we were out there and he's like, oh man, I'm going to do this. And he shot his own car with it. But before we had the opportunity to tell him not to do that, and he broke his windows. So he goes, oh man, watch this. What are you doing, dude? You can't do that. But again, the kind of what the police chief is saying here, like the operative word here is soft, you know, but again, they leave marks. And part of the reason that they do that, you have to know when you get shot when you're playing. That's the whole point. So a bunch of people in the live stream are like, they should be using paintballs or sim rounds or anything like that. So there's color involved. There's, you could use beanbags. Yeah, I could have a bunch of bruise or lethal devices being used by the officers. Yeah, that'd be interesting. So anyway, where do we leave off? So the ISTA went public with the allegations. I think we told you about that. Reason.com saying that this training doesn't actually do anything. Of course, they don't know what they're talking about because they're a bunch of pencil pushers. I want to go through the Twitter feed here of the Indiana State Teachers Association. ISTA would like to have educator and student safety addressed in active shooter drills at schools. ISTA heard from members who were injured during a recent training. Look, you get, air quote, injured. During active shooter, 4 teachers were shot, yada, yada. They were terrified. They were told not to tell anybody what happened. Teachers waiting outside that heard the screaming were brought into the room 4 at a time, and the shooting process was repeated. Now, what kind of screaming are we talking about, though? Are we talking about like panic screaming or, ow, what are you doing screaming? Because there's a big difference, right? But the Indiana State Teachers Association on their Twitter is making it seem like 4 teachers were brought into this room and they were thoroughly petrified that they were about to be executed by law enforcement. And I don't think that's honest either. No one in education takes these drills lightly. The risk of harming somebody far outweighs whatever added realism one is trying to convey here. Okay, so the non-tactical trained, non-military experienced individuals are saying the realism of training is really not important to the training. Huh? Weird, because that is not the case in literally any other scenario. The military trains with realism. Why? Because that's how you train. The police train with realism. Why? Because that's how you train. The teachers like realism is not important. Yeah, it is.
The teachers had to do like 6 months of teacher aid training. Like they had to go
right, but it's not. It's not important. No, you don't need to. You don't need to learn. You don't need to learn how to actually teach in a classroom environment to get your teaching license because it's not important. Realism is not important. Of course not. Right. So anyway, the ISTA requests an amendment in bills so that more reasonable limits are placed on these drills. Like what? It's what reasonable limits? Oh, just don't shoot the teachers. I don't look. I'm okay with having a volunteer scenario where you have a bunch of teachers going, "Yeah, I'll volunteer. Cool, that'll be great." You're gonna have plenty of them who volunteer. You're gonna have a bunch of them who are gonna wuss out and go, "No, I don't really want to deal with welts. I've got a jealous spouse at home. They're not gonna know what it is. I don't want to deal with it." You know, something like that. You know the type. So I'm okay with them getting volunteers for it. You know, hey, are you okay with being shot? Like Tyler was saying, are you okay with being shot? That sort of thing. And then you have those teachers kind of play that out. You know, I think that would be interesting. And here's the thing. We have actually seen this where if you were to let the students know, just so you know, we have an active shooter drill today. It is not real. You're safe. Okay. You let them know right off the get-go. But then when the drill happens and the teacher gets shot, there's still an adrenaline rush and kids still, whoa. There is still that mental connection that happens, kind of like when they bring the mangled car that somebody died into the school and they drop it off in the front of the school. And they go, this is what happens when you drink and drive, you 16-year-old idiot. And they just, they throw it out there. When people see it, there's a connection that happens versus when they see it on TV or on the internet. So I kind of get what the police department was trying to do here. We don't have context of whether or not they were actually told that they were going to be shot or not. The police are saying, look, they were informed that this was a possibility. The teachers are like, this was a total, we were blindsided by this. So it's kind of interesting to see this happen. But hey, who's your pride? Got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. MNC News Time is 3:31. Time to check out Masters Heating and Air Conditioning online at mastersheatcool.com. Masters gets there faster.
This is
good half hour. Oh, there's 2 traffic updates and a thing. There goes Casey's career.
No, he's not fake news. Pence isn't fake news either. You'll notice that I am sitting atop Tucker's shoulder, facing his ear. Tucker, say this. Tucker, say this. And him like, And look how concerned Pete Buttigieg is that I'm on Tucker's shoulder. And Maxine Waters is looking in disgust at my logo. Mike Pence is waving his finger at fake news. That was pretty smart. Honestly, I just wanted Tucker's face on the Facebook profile because it's funny.
The game will be at 8 p.m. at the Compton Ice Arena. A victory will give the Irish their second Big Ten title in 2 years since joining the league and give the team an automatic bid to
That's it, Warren. Gallon of sweat saves a pint of blood.
The White House wants to change its policy in Israel, with President Trump tweeting it's time for the U.S. to recognize Israel's control of the disputed Golan Heights. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is in Israel, meeting with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, all of these entities that present risk to Middle East stability and to Israel. They're determined to wipe this country off the face of the planet, and we have a moral obligation, a political one.
So the first comment, this is hysterical. The first comment that I see on the Reason article That's why they never do stuff like this in boot camp. Getting shot at never prepares you for getting shot at. Were you in the Air Force? Because I got shot at in boot camp with real bullets, with Miles equipment, and with sim rounds. So, what boot camp did you go to, Snowflake? Holy crap! I mean, yeah, that's an Air Force comment right there.
Fog and clouds are to clear out during the afternoon with a couple of breaks of sunshine this evening. The temperatures only top out at 42 degrees. For Friday, we'll start out with cloud cover, but it quickly clears out during the afternoon. Daytime highs still in the low 40s, and then sunshine and 46 for your Saturday. It looks a little bit better to get outside. In the ABC
They don't shoot at you in boot camp. What the actual F? The hell they don't.
Polybacks and 4 legs. Locally raised meats made to order American classics like walleye, bluegill, haddock, hand-cut Chairman's Reserve steaks, slow-smoked ribs, double bacon, double cheeseburgers, wings, and a...
It was a quote, Warren. I was aerosol. You know that. That's a patent quote. Gallon of sweat saves a pint of blood.
Check out our daily specials today. Visit Tuesdays through Saturdays to taste what it means to make American food great again.
It's kind of funny too. They don't shoot at you in boot camp because being shot at never prepares you for being shot at, which is bull. But yet they gassed us with chemical CS gas.
Could be
It's I don't know. If it is sarcasm, he should have noted that it was sarcasm. I almost want to log in and go, you must have been Air Force. It's so close. So close. You didn't know that was me on Tucker? You thought it was Neil deGrasse Tyson? You racist. You racist bigot. How dare you assume that I am black? Don't assume my race.
On the May soybeans, 9.10 1/2. July 9.24 1/4, up 4 3/4. Novi also rebounded, going up 4.5 cents to 9.44 3/4. And May wheat 4.66 1/2, up 1 3/4. April live cattle rebounded 129.90. Up.
Can't believe you want to see Market shot with an airsoft. I thought you were best buds. I don't have any issues with him.
I'm Andy Eubank. Who's your ag today? Indiana's Farm Network. The Fox Business Report. Brought to you by redesign the model and relax. Modern Kitchen on McKinley, east of Edison Road in Elkhart.
From the Fox Business Network, all Wall Street stocks are higher in the final hour of trading, and Levi Strauss making its debut on Wall Street today for the second time around, and its shares opening at more than $22, much stronger than expected, giving the iconic jeans maker a market value of over $8.5 billion.
So what if I am French royalty, fool? What about it?
Tells how she thinks they will spend it. I wouldn't see them acquiring another retailer. I would see them acquiring perhaps
What about it?
player to help digitize their offerings. For the stocks that
See, I'm Russian nobility, French royalty, which I just discovered only like in the last year. What was the other one? There was another like big doozy one.
so the fast food chain is bringing back the sweet and savory pairing starting on Saturday for a limited time. With the Fox Business
People
Report,
ask
I'm
if the college cheating scam actress will be jailed like the black moms who use fake
Hi, I'm Jay
addresses
Farner,
to send
CEO
kids
of
to better
Loans.
schools.
30% of Americans who are planning home improvements of $5,000.
Well, first of all, they're not applicable.
With a high interest credit card.
But
that may not be a great idea. A better idea.
Different states have different laws on your zoning.
30-year fixed rate mortgage. The rate today
And what about the white moms and Hispanic moms who do the same thing? My mom risked jail time by lying about where we lived so I can go to a different school. I'm just saying.
I know.
Northern Indiana, Southern Michigan, Western Ohio. It's time for Thaw and All. Championship pulling in pain. The
I'm just messing with you, Mike. My grandparents are being truthful. My great-grandfather turned down the throne of England. They're probably lying to you. Just like Elizabeth Warren's parents lied to her. That's her new thing now. She's saying that her family misled her about her heritage, and it's not her fault.
Since 1956, Shirk's Piano Gallery has been proud to provide top-quality service and selection of the finest pianos in the region. Through the month of March, you can save money on all pianos. New, used, demos, digital...
It could have been a death sentence, too. There's some times when you're a usurper, you find a patsy to put on the throne because you know they're going to get killed. And so maybe if his relative knew that he was going to be assassinated, he's like, nah, I'm good. I don't need the throne of England for 2 days. That's possible.
And a reputation for quality of service that is second to none. Shirk's has been honored to be named the area's only Steinway & Sons authorized dealer. Our location includes an extensive selection of print music and related music accessories, as well as a carefully curated selection of previously owned pianos. Join us now for our March piano sale. Visit the Shirk's Piano Gallery showroom on the corner of Grape and Day Road in Mishawaka for the finest selection in the area.
Talk radio that talks with you, not at you. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Casey Hendrickson.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Tomorrow is the next Pass the Mic event. Again, Friday, tomorrow, noon, tomorrow, Pass the Mic, tomorrow, noon, tomorrow at noon. Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill on McKinley and Division. Certainly hope you'll be out there. Got a lot to talk about. And also have the specially priced 95.3 MNC menu. I was perusing online yesterday. There's a bunch of people who hate my guts who said they might show up tomorrow to have words with me. This should be good. So if you want to see a show, definitely come on out tomorrow. Enjoy some great Mexican food from Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill. Again, Pass the Mic tomorrow, March 22nd at noon. Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill. The conclusion. So this was the story. This is what everybody was talking about. And yet a lot of conservatives going, what the heck is she doing? Going to a foreign government, getting information on another candidate. I don't remember anybody saying it was illegal. People just thought it was interesting and odd. And that there's foreign governments, working against a Republican and with the Clinton Foundation connection and everything else. People were wondering if there was a pay to play happening there. Well, now what ended up happening after that was the accusation of Russia collusion happened. So Hillary was able to get the media to immediately spin this and be about Trump-Russia collusion instead of Hillary-Ukraine collusion. And like I said, neither of them are illegal unless there's a pay-for-play situation. And there is no evidence, or I don't even think there's an accusation of that on the Trump side of things. There is with the Clintons through the Clinton Foundation, which would be illegal if it was a pay-to-play. If she's just getting op research from the Ukraine because Trump has business in the Ukraine and they might know a lot about him, there's nothing illegal about that. You can get op research from anyone about your opponent. So anyway, a senior Ukrainian official told The Hill this week that he has launched an investigation into members of his government over an alleged plot to boost Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton during the 2016 election. You should also know that like a year and a half after this story broke, all of a sudden Clinton's people are saying, no, it didn't happen. It was a rumor. It's a myth. It's not, none of this ever happened. And so you have a bunch of liberals in the U.S. running around on Twitter and going, there was never any collusion with the Ukrainian government. And the only people saying that there wasn't collusion were Hillary Clinton campaign boosters. The Ukrainians have several people in the Ukraine who said, oh, yeah, totally. We gave them information. And there's been efforts to get an investigation underway for some time. Well, we finally have one. Ukrainian prosecutor general Yuri Lusenko told The Hill's John Solomon, today we will launch a criminal investigation about this and we will give legal assessment of this information. Now, for the record, just seeking information. Once again, not illegal on the U.S. side of things. I have no idea if there's any illegality potential on the Ukrainian side. So that's a totally separate country, different laws. Lysenko is probing a claim from a member of the Ukrainian parliament that the director of the National Anti-Corruption Bureau of Ukraine, NABU, Artem Sitnik, attempted to the benefit of the 2016 U.S. presidential election on behalf of Hillary Clinton. Now, according to the member of parliament of Ukraine, he got the court decision that the NABU official conducted an illegal intrusion into the American election campaign. It means that we think Mr. Sitnik, the NABU director, officially talked about criminal investigation with Mr. Paul Manafort, and at the same time, Mr. Sitnik stressed that in such a way he wanted to assist the campaign of Miss Clinton. Miss Clinton. Not Mrs. Miss. You think she's a miss? I mean, technically she's a Mrs., but let's be honest, we all know what's going on here. Several days before then President-elect Donald Trump would be sworn into office, Politico broke the story about the alleged Ukrainian effort to boost Clinton. Now, I will point this out. Okay, Politico did not break that story just a couple of days before Trump was sworn in. Months before the election happened, we knew about this story. This is not something that happened after the election was already over. We knew about Hillary Clinton getting information from the Ukrainian government months before you went to the polls and voted. So this is not accurate, Daily Wire. Ukrainian government officials tried to help Hillary Clinton and undermine Trump by publicly questioning his fitness for office. They also disseminated documents implicating a top Trump aide in corruption and suggested that they were investigating the matter, only to back away after the election. And they helped Clinton's allies research damaging information on Trump and his advisors, according to a Politico investigation. Now, again, that happened after the initial reports that we had. So they are officially opening up a criminal investigation in Ukraine about this. We've heard that that was potential for some time now, but now they're actually going ahead and doing it. We got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3.
Your breaking news weather station.
Weather served up by the restaurant. Meet regularly for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Just call the Prime Table to reserve tables for your next gathering.
Great. My wife says her car won't start.
The new one that you guys just bought?
Yeah, she leaves her lights on the auto feature, and I don't like the auto feature.
I can't turn off the auto feature.
And yeah, you can turn on ours. You can turn it off. She leaves it there, so you have to think about her lights. But at the same time, there's been a couple of times where it's like left it on for long periods of time. So she's wondering if the.
Oh, you have your. Do you have?
I told her about the charger. Yeah. So.
Charger at your house or is in your car?
It's in the garage, so she should be able to get it.
Those things are useful if you have.
Dude,
one.
I'm telling you right now, man, the two best purchases I've ever made for my car are the portable air compressor and the jump starter. I don't have to worry about anybody else having the jump starter.
My dad has a 3-in-1.
Yeah,
where it's the compressor,
it'll do everything.
It's a charger, and you can plug in 18 volts into it. So it's real good to use. I'm like, hey, Dad, my car has a flat. It's like you can either go pay 25 cents or we can just do it here with the compressor.
Yep.
Like, what is it doing here?
I had the 3-in-1 that had the compressor on it. That one broke. So I had that one in my car, and then I had just a compressor in her car. And then just to be cheap, I just got the 2-in-1 on this one. So it'll do her jump starting and charge small electronics if need be. But
those things are useful. They're good to have.
Heck yeah. Started my bike right up.
Yeah, they're good to use every time we work on a car. Like when we bought. Technically, my first car I ever got was like the 2003 Ford Focus hatchback. The thing died on us a couple months after we got it, and so we popped it, and just every time we worked on it, the battery had died on it, and we didn't want to take out a new battery, so we just got the charger and just hooked it up. So every time we tried to use it.
Heck yeah, man.
I think the starter just died on it, and we just ended up scrapping it and buying a new car.
Yeah. Of course, we don't know the history of this battery either, so it's like, who knows how old this battery is?
You never know.
Never know.
ParkwoodAutoSpa.com for more details. Parkwood Auto Spa. Come as you are.
As long as your alternator is good and you
A
can
lush,
get it
beautiful car
started.
takes hard work, genuine effort, and consistent fertilizer timing. Or
That's it.
doesn't. With Stay Green Turf Control, you can have the beautiful lawn.
It's pretty basic too. Even she should be able to understand it.
Red, black,
Are you done buying the heavy bags of fertilizer
That's
in the
it.
store?
Wait 5 minutes.
Black to black.
You have the chance to put it down at just the right time.
I would
If you're like me, you love maintaining your lawn.
That's what I do too. I don't usually put it on the frame. I did on my motorcycle because you kind of have to. Motorcycle battery's a little bit different, but
You need a lawn that looks healthy and stays green.
My girlfriend did not jump a car one time. I left my lights on in the parking garage.
Mhm.
So I went, I was like, Brad, I'm going to go to work.
Weed control, lawn fungus and insect control, lawn rolling and aeration. We treat your lawn like it's our own. Find us on Facebook or call
So I called her and she brought her
904
cables. She's like, I don't know how to do this.
Hassle-free quote today.
Like you have a pair of cables in your car. Don't know how to use them.
yeah. Yeah, it did die, but I just hit refresh and then all of your comments came through. That is weird.
It might have been a glitch. I don't know.
I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and in any location. I am not a realtor or associated with any realty company.
But I like the jump starter just because I don't have to worry about asking somebody else to jump.
Yeah, that's kind of.
It's like it's a pain in the butt. It takes too long. You got to position the cars right. It's just stupid. Yeah.
Behind them payment houses.
I usually have good cables that are long, but if I don't have the cables with me, everybody has those like 3-foot cables, and then it's just a pain in the butt. You know, they get the cheapest cables.
I can't move my car. We have to.
Right.
If you're in a parking lot, you have to either push your car into a spot that works, or ask somebody to move their car.
Right. Trump is talking right now. I don't know. I got it on Fox. He's not saying anything. What's he talking about? I don't know. Somebody says he's talking right now. What's he saying?
Might not be very pressing because they're talking about the hub.
For home comfort experts about getting a free furnace with the purchase of an AC unit. At the same time, you'll be keeping your home cool this summer. You'll be keeping it warm.
Well, that's the hardest part is keeping the jump starter charged up.
Your free furnace.
Oh.
And the technicians you've come to know and trust.
He actually posted about it. So.
Right now with a free furnace. And at the same time,
Oh, he's
install the
not
AC
saying
unit that'll make this summer the most comfortable.
Calling is putting it mildly. It's time to put a stop to runaway administrators and law enforcement goofballs who get their jollies preparing for something that is extremely rare. It's statistically speaking.
Well, at least he knows it's rare. Not only are school shootings extremely rare, they happen less now. Schools are safer now than they were 20 years ago.
And it's just a screenshot of like half of the thread.
Weeknight 6 till 9, exclusively on News Talk 95.3.
Let's hook up some wires to the hamster. Oh, he's signing the college thing? Yeah. And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I'm your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595-95.3. I guess the president is signing the executive order according to people in the live stream. He's signing the College Freedom of Speech executive order right now. We'll talk about that probably, a little bit later in the program. All right, what do we have here? R&B Car Company. All right, so your used car experts, locations in South Bend and Warsaw. Check out R&B Car Company. Kellyanne Conway has weighed in on President Trump versus her husband. Now, this has been a very interesting storyline going back to the election. Kellyanne Conway's husband hates Donald Trump. And Kellyanne Conway obviously works in the Trump administration. And she is a big supporter of the president. But her husband, there's a part of me, okay, and I'm not making this accusation, but there is a part of me that has wondered if there either is a relationship between the president and Kellyanne Conway or the husband thinks there is. Because the way that he behaves is like a jealous person, okay? I don't know, it's just his mannerisms, the way that he acts about this. For months, you could probably say years. I mean, years. This guy has been attacking President Trump. Okay, he's been attacking him over and over and over again. The president's never responded. Okay, remember, I've never seen the president pick a fight with anybody. I've never seen him do it. I've always seen him respond to somebody who's already attacked him. I've never seen him pick a fight. So this guy continually attacks Trump. And Trump finally hit back at him this last weekend. Now, here's the interesting thing about this. The media is now going after President Trump for responding to George Conway. But the media are the same people who are elevating George Conway's comments into an actual news story instead of just ignoring them like they probably should have, right? So now they've elevated it as a news story as if this is somehow some kind of a rift inside of the White House or something of that nature. And so they've been going after the president over this. So Kellyanne Conway has finally responded. And of course, that's kind of what everybody's waiting for. What's Kellyanne Conway going to say? You know, is she going to defend her husband? Is she going to defend the president? What's going on? But like I said, George Conway's been attacking the president pretty viciously for a long period of time, and he finally responded. In the latest installment of the George Conway versus Donald Trump saga, White House senior advisor Kellyanne Conway defended her boss's decision to push back against the public criticism from the man that Trump branded her, quote, husband from hell. Now, part of this, if you've missed this rift, the president tweeted out George Conway or Mr. Kellyanne Conway or something like that, however he phrased it. And then he did. He called him the husband from hell. Now, you don't say something like that without having some kind of internal knowledge about what's happening in that household. That sounds to me like Kellyanne Conway has been venting about her husband for some time. Okay. You think that, so she says, she goes, you think that he should just take that sitting down? She also had some advice for those attempting to play psychiatrist with the president. Of course, a lot of people are doing that. The public feud between Conway and Trump, which has largely been one-sided until recently, really ramped up over the last week after Conway echoed the Democrats' attempt to portray Trump as mentally unfit for office by diagnosing the president as suffering from narcissistic personality disorder, which, of course, you can't do over TV or remotely or anything like that. But it's also an old trope that has been recycled again because the Democrats, once again, they hit you with one thing, it doesn't work. They go to the next thing, doesn't work. They hit you the next thing, doesn't work. They recycle back to that first thing, then they go to the second thing, then they go to the third thing, they recycle back to the first thing, second thing, third thing, recycle the first thing, second thing, third thing, continuously over and over and over again. So you're constantly hit with the same crap over and over again. In a series of tweets this week, Conway, a DC-based lawyer, provided his followers with a clinical definition of the disorder that he says he's increasingly convinced is driving Trump's actions. Now, why is a lawyer diagnosing somebody with a psychiatric condition? Exactly. Guess what was left out of the reports from the media who are saying, oh, George Conway has diagnosed Trump with a psychiatric condition. Guess what was left out of their reports? He's a flippin' lawyer. He's a lawyer. Okay, he's a lawyer. I'm more qualified to diagnose narcissistic personality disorder than this guy is. I'm in the media. Therefore, I am automatically the second career in the world, really, which can diagnose this sort of thing. The first, obviously, being the psychiatric profession, but anybody in the media is able to diagnose narcissistic personality disorder. Every single one of us can. So anyway, he posted that onto Twitter. Trump responded, George Conway, often referred to as Mr. Kellyanne Conway by those who know him, is very jealous of his wife's success and angry that I, with her help, didn't give him the job he so desperately wanted. I barely know him, but just take a look, a stone-cold loser and husband from hell. That was what the president tweeted out. Of course, now everybody's like, Superman, what is he doing? And, you know, from my reaction on this, I didn't expect her to respond, by the way, and I would not have blamed her for staying out of it. But I looked at this and I watched a bunch of Republicans and Democrats immediately go after the president. I'm like, this has been going on for long enough. Let him hit back. And people are like, what is wrong with him getting involved in their marriage? He's not getting involved in their marriage. This guy has constantly attacked the president. So Kellyanne Conway weighed in on the escalating battle between her husband in a phone interview with Politico on Wednesday, calling Trump a counterpuncher. She defended his decision to swipe back. He left it alone for months out of respect for me, she says. But you think that he shouldn't respond when somebody, a non-medical professional, accuses him of having a mental disorder? Do you think he should just take that sitting down? Unquote. As for her husband and the media trying to diagnose Trump, Kellyanne had some advice. Don't play psychiatrist any more than George should be. You're not a psychiatrist, and he's not, respectfully. So she's defended her boss. There you go. I don't think that marriage is going to last, do you? It's a little hunch. That's probably not going to last. All right, we got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Join the live stream, youtube.com/Casey the host, or on Facebook at facebook.com/Casey the host. More next.
WTRC-FM.
You know,
Trump should give him the ambassador to Venezuela.
here's the thing. If we think there's something going on, we need to check Trump's office for cigars.
Why? What am I missing? For cigars? For cigars? What am I missing? I'm sleep deprived. What am I missing? If we think,
remember Monica Lewinsky and Clinton at all?
Yeah, of course. What does the cigars have to do with it?
That was his tool of choice, Casey.
Oh, that's right.
How do I know that?
That's right. I forgot.
It's a good joke, and you had to make
It was a good joke. It was a good joke. You're right. Did chat die again, or is it functional now? I'm going to reset it right now anyway, even though it's a couple of minutes early. I don't know why it died in the middle of that segment. Probably another update somewhere. Oh no! They won't be able to study whether or not icebergs are male or female anymore. What?
We've just confirmed with the U.S. Marine Corps that the two memos written by the Marine Commandant, General Robert Neller, to both the Navy.
You can get cigars that are dipped in liquors, kind of like that, but not allowed by the FCC.
Funds and Marines to the southern border as part of the president's plan to bolster security at the border is going to adversely affect war readiness.
That picture looks like an impersonator, not actually Trump.
Yeah, maybe it is. Who knows? My wife's not getting back to me, so I don't know if she's okay or not. Things, stuff. Sometimes you just got to move on, brother. I mean, it's at our house, so it's not like it's It would be my luck that I'm financially strapped because of a move that one of the cars would seriously break. My power steering belt popped off of my car today, so I'm driving around without power steering right now until I get that back on.
Just pretend it's the 50s.
If my rib weren't jacked up, it wouldn't be so bad. My rib is jacked. Man, it would be so entertaining to do talk radio in Florida. They have so many things to talk about.
You won't even have to do political news ever.
No, I'd just be talking about, dude, I would be on the FARC Florida tag all day, every day. Yeah. Just talking about that stuff.
The Florida birthday meme would be a great thing for you to do.
Heck yeah.
Like, on this day, 5 years ago, here's what happened. And here's the follow-up story from today.
The best video. Is my audio queued?
For you to hear it?
For me to hear it and to not go out on the air.
Correct. We're good to go.
All right. Thank you.
To receive the money from the Indiana Criminal Justice Institute, they would have to dismiss any existing civil lawsuit or agree not to sue the state, a local government, or any public official or employee.
Actually, the road's closed, so you can turn around and drive it. What the hell? Have a good night. Face-to-face with 16-year-old type. Yes or no?
You got it. Experts, heating specialists, first warning forecast.
Fog and clouds are to clear out during the afternoon with a couple breaks of sunshine this evening. The temperatures only top out at 42 degrees. For Friday, we'll start out with cloud cover, but quickly clears out during the afternoon. Daytime highs still in the low 40s, and then sunshine and 46 for your Saturday. Looks like it's going to be outside. In the ABC 57 first morning neighborhood weather center, I'm meteorologist.
It really was just a matter of time before we saw something like this, and I'm really surprised that we haven't seen something worse. People always ask.
Somebody made a parody video of Just Another Day in Trump's America.
It's another day in Trump's America.
Right now, this neighbor took a picture of this guy. She used her Uber driver. Uber driver was black. And she took a video of him chasing her black Uber driver. Go, go, go! And then she posted, wow, my Trump supporting neighbor chased my black Uber driver away. And she uploaded it to YouTube and it went viral and all of this stuff happened. People doxed him, his address and everything. And now they're showing what really happened. He was helping him get, unstuck from the ice.
Another talking about it.
It means to make America a better place than it was the day before.
That's a damn good video.
Learn about which mortgage options make sense for you and get a
That
jump
guy
on
has
your
big ears.
with our exclusive.
Yeah, he does. You need long hair, homie.
But then you wouldn't look professional. You can be on Fox News.
Have you seen Tyrus?
Meanwhile, the 5 has a rainbow unicorn cup sitting in basically every shot. But it's fine.
Here's another great reason to work with us. For a record 9 years in a row, JD Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation.
Yeah, no power steering. It's my fault. Basically, what it was is I developed a squeak yesterday, so I was just putting some lube on the pulley, and it said to do it when it was idling, which I was like, I almost didn't do, but I did it, and it shot it onto the pulley that doesn't have the groove, and the belt just went. So it just slipped off, and I didn't have the tool with me to pop it back on.
And there it is.
There he is.
There it is.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson, yelling at you for absolutely no reason. I'm told it provides energy. Something like that. Anyway, I want to thank our sponsors, Second Amendment Arms and Range, located in New Carlisle. Of course, if you mention me, get half off your range time. They have 10 indoor lanes, rifle and pistol. Yes, they have rentals. You can go rent a gun there. And a lot of people do, and they love it. I know we have a lot of people on the live stream who tell us that they go out there on a regular basis. So you also get discounts in the store and listener-exclusive discounts on firearms, too. So go ahead and take care of all of that while you're out there as well. All right, 574-25-95-95-3. That is 2595953. This headline, 953mnc.com. Love the headline, though. Decision still awaits in South Bend Police tapes case. There's no decision other than the mayor refusing to release the tapes that the court has already said he can release. There's no other decision. That's it. The ruling in the more than 6-year battle over the South Bend Police tapes will have to wait a little longer. On Monday, March 18th, the judge was expected to rule on a motion for summary judgment. That decision will now be delayed to allow both sides of the case to establish their positions on consent, because in 6 years, apparently that hasn't happened. State law only requires one person to consent to the recording, and there's still a question about whether any of the people on the police tapes consented to being reported or recorded. There was a failed attempt and mediation in the case last year. The attorney for the South Bend Police has filed a motion for summary judgment in an attempt to end the proceedings and keep the contents of the tapes a mystery. But let's not forget, a federal judge has already ruled that some of these tapes can be released. They've already gone through this process, okay? Everything else at this point in time is just continuing to fight and try and protect people's reputations because some of those people are trying to run for higher office. That's reality. If there was nothing on this tape, this is the impression, all right? And I want to make this crystal clear. I don't know what's on the tape. We know that there's an accusation that there's racist things. We know that there's an accusation that there is some potential discussion of illegal activity on there. But we do not know. And we have the accusation coming from Karen DePape. Karen DePape, who says that she heard the tapes, and this is what she is proclaiming. Now, we don't know that she's telling the truth. We also don't know much about her and whether or not this is an accurate assessment of what she heard. I mean, it's not like we talk about things that are said to be racist that are not racist on a regular basis on the show. So it's entirely possible that somebody might say, oh, it is racist, when in fact it really isn't. But the impression is when everybody on these tapes doesn't want anybody to hear what they said, the impression is, all right, we've got a possible problem here. And like I said, some of those people have run for higher office. One ran for sheriff, St. Joseph County recently, is on the tapes. And if you're going to do that, you've got to address these questions that people have. And if people are sitting here and going, wow, you've been accused of making racist statements and other statements on these tapes and stuff like that, now you want to run for higher office, shouldn't we have some clarity in whether or not you actually did it or not? And if you're innocent, like you say you are, cool. Can you prove it? That's the issue. And now they've turned it into a privacy issue for the other people on the tape, not about the police. They keep changing the arguments here, but let's not forget, people are talking about Mayor Buttigieg running for president and all of these other things that are happening. And I've had some Fort Wayne people kind of reach out to me and go, what do you have about this guy? And I'm like, look up the police tapes, because this is a big deal. And, you have the mayor falsely accusing the former police chief of federal wiretap crimes. Okay. Falsely. Fired him, was forced to rehire him in a demoted position, and then kept everything secret. Even after the courts. Now, first of all, the Federal Circuit Court has already ruled that the police departments have a right to do this. They have a right to police their own lines and tape their own lines. At the same time, the mayor still said, nope, my lawyers tell me it's illegal. And so they went to court. And another federal judge said some of these tapes you can release and some of them you can't. And so I said, all right, well, let's release the ones that the federal judge said you could. The mayor's like, nope, still not going to do it. What the heck? Again, the impression is, now, I need to make this crystal clear, as I've always done. He's not required by law to release them. It is in the power of the mayor's office to keep these tapes secret. The problem is that people look at this and people go, what are you hiding? Okay, what are you hiding? You've already falsely accused the former chief of federal wiretap crimes. You say that the tapes couldn't legally be released. 2 federal courts have said they can. So why don't you release the ones that they said could be released? Keep the other ones hidden. If the other side wants to keep fighting for those other tapes, that's fine. Let that case play out. This has cost the taxpayers millions of dollars, okay? Millions of dollars. And we're still dealing with this after 6 years. 574-25-95-95-3. That is 2595-953. Sandy, welcome to the program.
How you doing?
Doing well. What's up?
I used to be a former correctional officer.
Yeah.
And I just want to make a comment that your FTO, which is your field training officer, or your CO, lets you know ahead of time that if you don't want to be recorded in the facilities, go outside and make a phone call. If you have a cell phone, go use your cell phone outside. They let you know ahead of time that their lines are recorded. The holding cells in the facility, those lines are recorded. Any person that goes from one facility to another facility already knows that those lines are recorded. Even in the Department of South Bend, those lines are recorded. these guys know if they're going to let somebody use their phone, that they're going to record that line for investigational purposes.
Yeah.
So they're full of crap.
Well, and here's the thing, okay? We already knew that the officers knew that lines in that building were being recorded. They have argued that they didn't know this line was recorded. They knew some of the lines are recorded, just not this one. And I don't know any police department across the country that doesn't record everything that comes in. I've never heard of a police department that doesn't record all of their lines. I've never heard of it. And I would assume that people who are 20 and 30-year veterans of the police department would know that those lines are recorded.
Exactly. You're not talking about a first-year rookie. So those guys have seniority over there, and they know what's what.
Yeah. That's the thing that's always kind of hit me. And, you know, the mayor has either been dishonest or grossly misadvised by his so-called legal team on this case from the very beginning. And I'll let you all choose which one it is, but I think the evidence has been pretty clear from the circuit court in their ruling on an exact same case in Illinois about this. But
I would comment that he's mostly dishonest. He didn't let anybody know off the hand that he was he had a partner that was the same sex until after he was elected. So I would say there's a lot of dishonesty through that party. And here we go again, going to vote on somebody. Well, I'm not, because I don't live in the city.
Yeah. All right. I appreciate it, man. Thank you much.
Thank you.
Take care. You know, look, I don't know if not talking about your sexual life is the same as this, but it was just when this first came up, I read everybody the circuit court decision on a case that was almost identical to this in Illinois. And that circuit court covers Indiana, Illinois, and other states. So it was already decided at the federal level in the circuit court that police could do this. And then we got to the point where we're just going to continue to fight this thing. We ended up going to another federal court, and the federal judge said, yeah, some of these tapes can definitely be released. You can release them tomorrow if you want to. Now, the mayor doesn't have to. Again, crystal clear about this. The mayor does not have to release them, but it sure is difficult to be making an argument that you're a transparent government if you're not going to release critical tapes about law enforcement entities, many of whom, again, are running for higher office, who have had accusations made against them that may or may not be true. But we don't know if they're true or not because we haven't heard the tapes that the court has ruled could be released. So, and it's not a privacy issue. That's not at all what this is about. All right, we got more of your phone calls and reaction to this coming up on Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Michiana's news channel is everywhere.
I'm having trouble hearing everything.
Yeah, I think, okay, so first of all, I know that in his first year as mayor, everybody knew he was gay. Okay, everybody. Before that, I don't know if anybody knew. I don't know that it really would have made any difference or would matter at all. But we knew pretty shortly after.
Daytime highs top out of 42 degrees. I'm going to start to see clouds break up this evening. For tonight, we dropped down to 32 degrees with some clearing skies. And then a few clouds move back in for Friday morning. And that will be 30 as we have then clouds clearing back out through the rest of the afternoon and evening. It's a lot nicer the second half of Friday with temperatures warming up to 42 degrees. For Saturday, nothing but sunshine. Temperatures getting up to 46 degrees. And then for Sunday, we top out at 54. Definitely the warmest day here in this stretch, with clouds out starting to increase during the afternoon.
Michiana's news channel. Would you like to talk to Casey?
95.3 MNC is live on all your listening devices. On the radio at 95.3 FM. On the computer at 95.3
Them being released.
On your smartphone, you download the 95.3 MNC app. And now on the
Like why they're not being released and everything. Yes.
95.3 MNC skill. Your top news, traffic, and weather, and the #1 talk show lineup in Michiana,
sure.
anytime, everywhere. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, your breaking news and weather station.
Hello, I'm Les Anderson, owner of Signs of the Times. We're a full-service sign company. We've been in business now going on 14 years. We have 2 stores located in Elkhart. A lot of the services we offer, the vehicle wraps have just taken off in the last several years. And with that, our business has grown. And when we give you something on a proof, and then when you see it on your vehicle, it stands out. It's not just, here's a vehicle wrap.
I will
When you walk
pass
in,
that on.
or when you engage with anybody on our staff, realize that you're dealing with true professionals, and they absolutely love what they do, and they want to help you and take care of your needs. Whether it's a small job, whether it's a $5,000 or $10,000 job, I want somebody who walks in and say, I want a $25 T-shirt to feel like you're a $10,000 customer. It doesn't really matter. I honestly believe one of the most important things in business is taking
City
care of
room
people,
rentals
period.
from
And
someone who's
that
here
their
from
job,
city
no matter how
officials.
big or small,
Would
is
you like to
important
hear
to
it?
us.
Sure.
From wraps to signs,
So
apparel
apparently,
cleats. Display your brand with Signs of the Times at Elkhart. Signs of the Times at Elkhart.com.
And we're caught by a cop.
Ouch! What happened? I tripped. For the last
And that's what they were talking about?
sidewalk. We have to replace that concrete.
Why replace it? We can just call
Him
it
and who?
concrete leveling, and they can level it.
What? I'm confused.
Interesting.
A1 Concrete Leveling fixes all types of concrete surfaces, so you don't have to replace
What's his
it.
position
From
again?
driveways, patios, and porches to sidewalks, floors,
You're
and
just.
steps.
Oh, yeah, he's the.
Three-step process to pump your concrete back in place.
What type of process are we talking
Hold on.
about?
First, they drill small holes on the surface of your concrete, and then they hydraulically pump an environmentally friendly compound
reliable
underneath
sources.
the concrete. And once the desired level is reached, they seal off the holes with a cement mixture. The newly repaired concrete can even be used the same day.
A1 Concrete Leveling, correcting your concrete one level at a time. For more information or a free estimate, call 574-862-3146
Now,
or toll free.
okay, maybe,
560-3146.
but
Just remember, Michiana.
Karen DePape never said that. So, if that's the case, if the person who is the only one that we know that has like firsthand knowledge of those tapes, because she found them, has never made that accusation. So, why not release the ones that don't have that? There's multiple tapes. They don't all have it.
I don't know. I'm just telling you what I heard from another dude who heard it from someone.
I'm just a dude playing another dude. Hey, 100% thumbs up to view ratio. Sweet. We have like 5 people watching today. Is that how we get the ratio? Just get less people watching?
What do you need done on your house? The basement could be finished. The kitchen needs updating. Your deck is not the way you want. Or maybe you just want an entirely new room added to your home. That's when you call Graver Custom Remodeling. They come to your home with vision and experience that leads to some of the finest projects done in the area.
35.
It's a family name and it's put on every project they do.
All right.
There are no corners to cut. Everything is measured twice. Graver Custom Remodeling.
I do appreciate it.
Materials and craftsmen to complete truly custom projects. When you see your new addition in your mind and meet with the Graver team, you begin to see what custom really means. Whether you're restoring a 100-year-old farmhouse, creating your ultimate living space, or taking your kitchen to the next level, make it custom.
I had a good cigar today. It got me high.
Graver Custom Remodeling.
That's how you know it's a good one.
GraverCustomRemodeling.com.
101% now. Yes. We have 101% thumbs ups. It's a good squish.
We'll lay out basics and flat price and delivery and knowing who your buyer is. We'll look at every type of contract that's available. And new for this year, the next level grain marketing class. Features and options in Grain Marketing 201. Space in 10 county classes January through March is limited. So call me at 574-566-2113 for more information or to enroll.
Hey there, Mark McGill. I'll tell you what Americans spent $40 billion on last year, and you may be guilty of this. Details Friday morning on Machine.
It was not a special dipped cigar. Monica has not visited you recently. And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Once again, Pass the Mic happening tomorrow. And again, that is March 22nd. Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill starts at noon. Got a lot to chit-chat about. Of course, we have the special 95.3 MNC menu, so you can order some of my favorite dishes from Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill. Hope you'll join us tomorrow for Pass the Mic. Again at noon, Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill on McKinley and Division from 95.3 MNC. I'm talking about the South Bend police tapes because that is still a thing 6 years later, in spite of the fact that federal courts have already ruled that at least some of these tapes can be released. And the police who are on the tapes have been fighting for all of this time to keep them secret. The mayor has been helping them. We don't know what's on the tapes. We have people who have heard the tapes make accusations. We don't know if those accusations are true or not, but if you're a third person looking in on this thing and you're not one of the participants and you got one side trying to keep secrets and the other side who's trying to get the tapes released and is telling you stuff that's on the tapes, you tend to lean a little bit more towards the accuser saying, all right, well, they're the ones telling us what's on them and they want them released. So why does the other side not want them released? Could it be that the other side is telling the truth? And again, we don't know. We don't know that they are. It's entirely possible that some of the things the officers on these tapes have been accused of is total bullcrap, but we don't know because we don't have the tapes that have been ordered, could be released, to be released. And again, have to stress this. The mayor is not under a legal obligation at this point in time to release those tapes. It is at the discretion of the mayor's office. And he's chosen not to release the ones that the federal courts have said could be released, which again plays into the speculation that we have had for the past 6 years. George, welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
I have a question to ask. I think when this all came out, didn't Boykin resign his position and decide the next day he wanted it back? I guess if I'm a boss of a company and somebody quits, why would I want to take him back? I don't think the mayor fired him. If I remember, Boykin resigned.
Okay, well, here's the thing. If you have the mayor coming to you and accusing you of a criminal activity and then says you are going to resign, which is exactly what happened. He was forced to resign. That's being fired. Offering your resignation on your own recognizance without prompting from your superior, that's resigning. But when your superior says you're going to give me your letter of resignation, you're being fired.
I just don't believe the mayor did that. I believe Boykin resigned because everything wasn't going down.
Okay, April 11, 2012, Boykins was forced to resign on March 29th in light of the investigation.
Forced to resign, but I thought the day before he resigned. It's just weird because I think he resigned. The mayor did not fire him. But that's all right.
Honestly, it's semantics and really doesn't matter. He was falsely accused of federal wiretap crimes by the mayor.
Correct. I totally agree with that, but that's just falsely accused. I think it's all, everybody's guilty if they don't want to turn it all over to the public.
Well, we don't know that Karen DePape is telling the truth. That's the whole thing. She's made some pretty slanderous accusations, but if you're floating around and you're making these accusations against these officers and these officers are not interested in getting their name clear by releasing the tapes to prove their innocence, it makes the public look at it as if she might be telling the truth. I don't know that she is.
I don't know neither, but you know what? If he was telling the truth, you'd want to clear your name immediately, especially when Corbett was running for mayor. For police chief, sheriff. You thought he would have cleared his name. That's what got him. That's what got him not elected.
I think so too. That in Redmond is a popular guy and people like him quite a bit.
I know Redmond very well.
Yeah,
Corbett did it on his own.
Well, I agree. When he announced, that was one of the first things I said is like, how can we have him as the lead guy there at the department if we still have this cloud hanging over him? And I've never met Corbett. I don't know the man at all. I know a lot of people who like him tremendously and respect him. I know others who don't. It's the same with anybody, I guess, in service like that. But I just, from my perspective, he's been accused of some pretty awful stuff. And
if you're not guilty, you're going to clear your name.
I think about it this way, because I get accused of being a bigot all the time, right? And the first thing that I do is go, all right, cool. Link to the thing that I did, the bigoted thing that you're so upset about. Just tell me where it is. Show me where it is. Let me hear it. Let me one, get some clarity that I actually said it. Two, let me provide some context. Nobody ever provides me that link, but that's the first thing that I do is prove it.
Yeah, just prove it to me that I'm wrong. That's all.
Correct.
And if I'm wrong, I'm going to admit that I did do it.
Yeah, I'll look at I'll see if I can find the Boykins thing. I don't remember him stepping down, but
one of the news articles said police chief resigned, but yet the next day he wants his job back.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take a look at it. I'll see if I can find it. But
thank you very much.
All right. I appreciate it, George. Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right. Yeah, I don't remember that. Yeah, Karen DePape was fired too following the federal investigation. Yeah, I'd have to go ahead and look at it, but it's like I said, it's 6 years ago. It's been a while. A lot of when I talk about this comes from memory. I don't bring up every article that I've ever had on it, but like I said, you have a situation again where the mayor goes out there, accuses the police chief of violating federal wiretap laws. The mayor says that his lawyers are advising him on that, which is interesting because the federal circuit court in this area has already ruled that you can do that. I don't know a police department that doesn't record their lines. I've never heard of one. Okay, never. We have the officers who are on these tapes admit that they knew lines in that building were recorded, just not this one. Okay. So the article 2 days ago in the Tribune was implied consent may decide this case. There isn't a consent issue. We're not talking about two private parties here having a conversation. We're talking about a public phone line. So there isn't this one party consent state that doesn't apply when you're talking about government property. Government property is available for FOIA requests. It is available for public consumption. And sometimes there are limitations on that depending on the situation. But we are not talking about two people on their cell phone who had their cell phones recorded with a Stingray, which, by the way, the South Bend Police Department uses on the civilian population. So we're not talking about that. You're talking about government property and people having a discussion on government property. Well, that's not a private person versus person sort of a scenario. So they're making these accusations that neither side consented to being recorded. That's irrelevant. Again, this has been decided by the circuit court. This is government property. They can absolutely record the phone lines. They don't need anybody's permission to record the phone lines. It's government property, period. So, like I said, it's already been decided at the federal level. The fact that this case is dragging on and costing us millions of dollars is ridiculous on top of this stupid boombox we're making. It's just a giant waste of money. And meanwhile, South Bend's roads are garbage, and they're facing a $3.3 million budget shortfall in 2020. Yay. We got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. MNC News Time is 4:31. Time to check out Masters Heating and Air Conditioning online at mastersheatcool.com. Masters gets there faster.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station.
Yeah, he's trying to say that he resigned and then wanted his job back and then was forced to resign. None of that makes any sense. I've always heard that he was fired. I don't remember any case where he resigned.
They want to make sure that we educate people on fire safety, how to use a smoke alarm, how to test smoke alarms, and also how to just prepare for emergencies. State Fire Marshal Jim Green.
But he also, the only reason the resignation even happened was because he was being accused of committing a federal crime by the mayor, which wasn't true.
And basketball does not have the only tournament heating up as we get into spring.
The road to the Frozen Four will be defined this weekend as NCAA hockey gets ready to crown division champs. Notre Dame will host Penn State Saturday night in the Big Ten Tournament Championship. The game will be at 8 p.m. at the Compton Ice Arena. A victory will give the Irish their second Big Ten title in 2 years since joining the league and give the team an automatic bid to hockey's NCAA tournament.
That's 95.3 MNC's Darren Wright reporting. Fox News, I'm Rich Dennison. President Trump announcing a shift in U.S. policy today, tweeting White House support for the recognition of the Golan Heights as part of Israel.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu tweeting in response at a time when Iran seeks to use Syria as a platform to destroy Israel. President Trump boldly recognizes Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights.
Fox's John Becker at the White House. Facebook says it stored millions of user passwords for years in a readable format instead of encrypted form. Employees could access that data, but Facebook says...
All right, here we go. Here we go. This is what the guy's thinking of. All right. Late on Friday afternoon, Chief Darrell Boykins rescinded his resignation. Boykins was forced to resign by Mayor Pete Buttigieg on Thursday. So on Thursday, he was forced to resign. The next day, Boykins rescinded his resignation after a press conference by the mayor. That's what happened. So that's the confusion we have. So he was forced to resign. So he was fired. And then the next day, after a press conference by the mayor, Chief Boykins rescinded it.
Couple breaks of sunshine this evening. The temperatures only top out at 42 degrees. 4-5 will start out with cloud cover, but it quickly clears out during the afternoon. Daytime highs still in the low 40s, and then sunshine at 46 for your Saturday. Looks a little bit better than outside. And the ABC P7 first morning evening.
Did you know that Obama has picked Duke over North Carolina? That's all over the news today.
Seems like a solid choice.
You're never wrong to pick Duke. You're not wrong to pick North Carolina either. But it's like,
I don't know.
Why are we still covering his brackets?
Because Trump didn't do one.
It was always silly to cover the brackets. But anyway, I don't know.
It's content, Casey. It's content.
I can at least
news days.
I can at least understand if the president is getting involved in it, and I don't have an issue with it like some people do. I got nothing wrong with showing the president in a lighter light, but he's not the president anymore. Who cares about his bracket? There's plenty of celebrity brackets out there. Why are they covering that, guys? Nobody's picking my bracket. I didn't do a bracket. Brackets are stupid. I did a bracket last year only because I was trying to participate and be friendly with the office, and it didn't get me anywhere. So screw them. Don't want me at your parties.
I don't follow basketball closely.
I don't either.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO.
Closest
I don't
I ever
know.
did to doing an actual bracket was when I had to do one in my math class where we had to choose.
Oh yeah.
We had to choose 3 stats, 2 or 3 stats, and compare them to set our brackets. It was actually really fun. They were not accurate. I don't think a single one really got more accurate than past the second round.
So I picked like the few teams that I knew were on there, and just for the hell of it, I was like UNLV. You know, I just put them all the way through, just showing my hometown pride.
Right.
And then I picked everybody else based on the uniforms, like a girl. I was like, it's all in the uniforms.
NBC Retrievers get like to the 3rd round or something. Golden Retrievers or whatever.
I don't know.
I remember that was like a really big thing. It was like, yeah, go Dogs! Because they were like never, like first time ever in the tournament.
Yeah.
And they were like in the 3rd round. And it was like, or 2nd or 3rd round, I don't remember.
Nothing wrong with picking the underdogs, man.
Literally.
I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more.
I mean, I was huge into basketball when I was a kid. I was a really good player. I played street ball in the hood every day. And so I got really good. I'm playing with a lot of, first of all, I was playing with older players. So I was always the short kid. So my uncles would play, and then, we probably had like 70% really good street basketball kids. And then, a few dorky white kids who could do some stuff, but got really good at it, was really into it. That's when, Tark and UNLV were dominating basketball. That was the huge UNLV-Duke rivalry for those years. And so we were really into basketball back then. Of course, you had Magic, you had Larry Bird, you had Jordan, you had all of those guys playing. Yeah.
We have an entire team dedicated to treating toothaches and dental emergencies. Stop in today with
everybody's like, see LeBron past Jordan. LeBron's better. Well, LeBron's not better
you
than
have
Jordan.
dental insurance or not, we'll do everything possible to ensure you get exceptional care.
Well, that, and you don't have the caliber of player that you had back then. You just don't.
And more than that, we'll work with you, get you back.
Jordan played against far better players than LeBron has played against.
Take care of your dental pain.
And I still think Kobe is better than LeBron anyway.
On Douglas Road in Mishawaka.
I was watching Scrubs, and it was the game. It was Shaq versus LeBron or Kobe.
I think it was Kobe, because they did a thing. I think after they were teammates, or maybe before, they were like talking trash back and forth. I think they played a game, so you're probably thinking of that.
Probably Kobe. It was Kobe and Shaq. Wow, this show's older than I thought it was. Still a good show. Holds up.
I had a Shaq, several Shaq rookie cards. Don't know,
Shaq Fu.
don't know where they are. Yep, remember Shaq Fu? Yep.
They came out with a second one, like
Did they?
remake, and it's so much better.
Well, they should redo Kazam. They should redo it now. I was reading a story, Dwayne Wade, who I think is a really good player. Dwayne Wade was talking about a time that he was doing like some video shoot or something with Kobe, and he accidentally like busted his nose in the shoot. He like elbowed him, and so he's like, I was really worried. He was pissed at me, and I called him before we were gonna play, and he's like, no, it's all good, I got you. And he goes, and Kobe just destroyed me all night. He'd been waiting for it for months. And so I'm like, and Dwayne Wade's a really good ball player, and Kobe just plastered him. Hey, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Do want to thank our sponsor, Second Amendment Arms and Range, located in New Carlisle. And, of course, you get half off your range time if you mention me. Go to secondamendmentarms.net for more information. I have found the information that the last caller brought up about former Chief Boykins rescinding his resignation. So he just has his timeline wrong, but he's not wrong about him rescinding his resignation because he did. Chief Boykins was forced to resign by Mayor Buttigieg after he was falsely accused of violating federal wiretap law. Now, that happened on a Thursday. On Friday, late afternoon, after the mayor held a press conference about Chief Boykins, he rescinded that resignation that he was forced to give the previous day by the mayor. So he didn't resign and then try to come back, and then the mayor fired him. He was fired, and then after he heard the press conference, said, "No, I'm not going to put up with this crap." Remember, Chief Boykins got involved in a lawsuit over this. Okay, so so Boykins was fired. And then he rescinded that the next day after the mayor's press conference. All right. So the last caller wasn't wrong, just was wrong on the timeline of how it all went down. So, but we looked it up. We're able to find it. And so there you go. We got the information. All right. 574-2595, 95.3. That is 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. The Chicago Police Union now wants a federal probe into the Jussie Smollett case. Now, what is interesting about this, there's already going to be a federal investigation of this, because if Jussie Smollett mailed himself the white powder and the threatening letter, which it appears he did now, that's a federal crime. You can't do that. So Chicago Police Union wants federal probe into Smollett case after Michelle Obama's former top aide contacted the state attorney. Kevin Graham, the president of the Chicago Police Union, sent a letter on March 15th to the U.S. Department of Justice requesting a federal investigation into Cook County's attorney Kim Foxx, alleging that Foxx interfered in the police's investigation of Empire actor Jussie Smollett. Graham accuses Foxx, who eventually recused herself from the case, remember she did that, of acting inappropriately when she tried to talk to Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson into handing the Smollett investigation over to the FBI. What is it about the Clintons and getting involved with telling people, top attorneys in legal cases, to back off? What is it about that interference that happens only around the Clintons? Fox's call to Johnson came after an influential supporter of the Empire actor reached out to Foxx personally. Tina Chen, a Chicago attorney and former chief of staff of former First Lady Michelle Obama. I said Clintons. I meant Michelle Obama. My apologies. According to emails and text messages provided by Foxx to the Chicago Sun-Times in response to a public records request. I meant to say it was what is it with the Obamas and their top attorneys getting involved in this stuff? Because it was Loretta Lynch in the Obama administration who also met with Bill Clinton on the tarmac secretly right before the Hillary Clinton tape thing. And so flip Michelle Obama and Hillary Clinton. Text messages show that Chen contacted Foxx on February 1st, 3 days after Smollett said that he was jumped by two men as he walked home from a sandwich shop near Streeterville, his Streeterville home. Chen texted Foxx to set up an early morning phone call. Text messages showed that Foxx told both Chen and Smollett's relative that she had personally reached out to Johnson and requested that he give the investigation over to the FBI. Now, according to text messages provided by the Sun-Times, Fox Road spoke to Superintendent earlier. He is going to make the ask, trying to figure out logistics. I'll keep you posted. Why do they want this turned over to the FBI? Why does Smollett's relative want this case turned over to the FBI? 16 felonies for filing false police report after authorities alleged that he staged a hate crime against himself because he was angry that the tens of thousands of dollars that he earned per episode of Empire was not enough. NBC News notes that a spokesperson from her office said at the time, out of an abundance of caution, the decision to recuse herself was made to address potential questions of impartiality based upon familiarity with potential witnesses in the case. Such conduct merits a review by your office, Graham said in his letter. Private attorneys are not allowed to interfere with ongoing police investigations, particularly at the request of private individuals associated with the subjects being investigated by the police, in this case, a subject later determined to be the offender and not the victim, unquote. Yeah. Isn't that interesting? Every time we have a case like this, there's always somebody in the Obama sphere of influence, if you will, that goes around and is trying to manipulate these cases. According to the media reports on public documents, one of Smollett's relatives was communicating with Ms. Fox about her request to transfer the case to the FBI. As you probably know, Ms. Fox ultimately recused herself from this case as a prosecutor based on those communications with relatives of Jussie Smollett. That recusal is wholly insufficient, Graham added. In order for Ms. Fox to properly charge and try this case, her entire office should have been recused, and a special prosecutor been appointed. Smollett has repeatedly claimed that the attack is real, etc., etc., etc. Wow. Doesn't look good, does it? What? What a pattern of behavior. Got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 93.
Cold horn going on with the break. There was a poll this morning. Jordan got 60% of the votes. LeBron got 10. Nobody out there believes that LeBron is better than Jordan in his peak. Nobody legitimately believes that. Okay, I should say no adult legitimately believes that. There's probably some kids who've never seen Michael play, who have no clue what it was like when he played.
What game was NBA Street on the PlayStation 2? Like the shit. And
go ahead.
The final boss player. You got like hero players.
Yeah.
And like the first hero player you got was Michael Jordan. So your team didn't actually suck the entire time.
Yeah.
And then the final boss player, like that if you beat the boss, you got the hero player that you beat. And so the final boss was Michael Jordan. This is like in 2003-ish. I don't know. I might be totally wrong. I don't know when PS2 came out.
Yeah.
But Michael Jordan was the boss player, was the final boss in that year. He was hard. They had to play him 3 times.
Hey, Casey, this news is a week old. I saw it on YouTube. Who gives a crap? I'm busy with other stories. Get your own show.
What news?
The friggin' Smollett thing. No, it's just that somebody just commented on it. Do you know what is new? The letter that was just sent. Idiots.
Do you know what Happy Tree Friends is?
Happy what?
Tree Friends.
No.
This show, and the caption for this picture is, y'all scared of Momo, but I grew up with this.
At the Clear H2O Tackle Spring Open House.
Happy Tree Friends.
I can't believe I'm getting married today. Do you have the ring? Do I look okay? Son, it's all taken care of. You buttoned up nice.
And the rings with Bobby. Honestly, it's your mother I'm worried about. When you announced the engagement, all I saw was a flash of dresses and clothes all over the house for the next month. Your mom is very excited for you. She just wants everything to be perfect. She's getting ready now, and I'm sure she's a hot mess.
Dad, don't worry. I sent her to Judy's. From mother of the intended. Spring, summer, and fall fashions, Judy's has the perfect fit for any special occasion. Browse through top designers with specially trained associates, Judy Girls, who provide personal color and style analysis. And view one-of-a-kind dresses like Molsheri Komarov that can't be found anywhere else in the area. The Judy Girls won't let you leave the store without something that doesn't look just right. Judy's, it's the best brands for the best you. With locations in LaPorte, Granger, and now open in Valparaiso.
For expert service guaranteed, call 866.
You want to take your daughter to see Dora in the Lost City of Gold?
Nope.
Expert plumbing service? BW Cook Service Expert. Standing by to fix all your plumbing problems. A free plumbing service call at $99 value. BW Cook Service Experts, your hometown Michiana plumbing pros.
Call 866 experts.
See website for license.
Next time is match time. Only at R&B Car Company. And that means you'll get $2,500 minimum for your trade-in, or we'll match your tax check up to $2,500. Over 600 vehicles to choose from, and new vehicles arriving daily. Come experience why we are where you ought to be, and take a test drive today. Tax time is match time, and it's happening now. Only at R&B Car Company.
I wonder how many people write Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity and stuff and go, Casey Hendrickson talked about that like 3 months ago. Because that happens all the damn time. And then those people go, have you heard about this? Yeah, and I have to send them my daily show prep when I talked about it months ago.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Effing people. Everybody sucks. Screw you all, I quit. And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I'm your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595, 95.3. That is 2595-953. So now, with the Jussie Smollett situation, mayoral candidate Tony Preckwinkle, Mayor Preckwinkle, that's going to write itself, defended her political protege on Tuesday amid allegations that the state's attorney's Kim Foxx acted inappropriately when she tried to persuade Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson to transfer the investigation of Jussie Smollett's claim of being a target of a hate crime to the FBI. Again, why do they want to go to the FBI? Kim Foxx was my chief of staff for a little more than 2 years. She ran for and was elected state's attorney. I'm very grateful for the good work that she's done there, Preckwinkle told the Unrelated News Conference at the West Side. This is in the Chicago Sun-Times. 2 days ago, not 15 days ago. People sending me letters go, this is old news. No, it's not. The letter is from the 15th, which I said, this is new. I think that she makes the decision that she believes are in the best interest of the office. Really? Working with, okay, she makes the decisions she believes are the best when working for the office. So do you think it's appropriate for her to be meeting with the family of a victim of a crime who ended up being the perpetrator of the crime in order to get jurisdiction transferred to a different place, which would help that individual? Is that really appropriate? Is that really the best interest of the office here? The Fraternal Order of Police has demanded the federal investigation of Fox's behavior in the Smollett case. And of course, we talked about the details of that. The Sun-Times also reported last week that Chen passed Fox's number to a relative of the actor. The ensuing conversation with a family member was cited by Fox last month as a reason that she recused herself. Email included with the records requested by the Sun-Times shows that Fox's chief ethics officer sent a message to top staff announcing Fox had recused herself from the case on February 13th, about a week before Smollett was actually charged, and the same date as her last message and calls with the Smollett relative. So it seems like she knew that the writing was on the wall, that maybe somebody had discovered what was going on here. The text messages show that Fox told both Chen and Smollett's relatives that Fox had reached out to Johnson personally about handing the case over to the FBI. And then the FOP, which represents the bulk of Chicago Police Department rank and file officers, on Tuesday announced Union President Kevin Graham last week sent that letter to the U.S. Attorney's Office. Such conduct merits a review by your office, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So they put this up on the FOP's blog, too, for everybody to take a look at. Of course, we're linking to it in the Daily Show Prep today. But again, it just kind of comes back to what on earth are you trying to do to get this transferred to the FBI? So now what that does for me is it says, all right, so the federal probe for all of the civil rights violations, the mail issues and all of that, is that in jeopardy now too? They were trying to get it all moved to the FBI. So why do they feel like the case would have been better handled by the FBI versus the Chicago PD? What's going on? And I don't know. Maybe they felt that this was a civil rights thing and that the FBI should have handled it from the beginning. I don't know. It sure is suspect, and good for the police department through the FOP to go out there and try and get some kind of clarity about what's going on with this. All right, 574-25-95-95-3 from Prickwinkle to Hickenlooper. Democrat contender Hickenlooper, John Hickenlooper, has confirmed to watching adult films with his mommy. Just gonna let that emanate for a little bit. What is today, Wednesday or Thursday? Thursday? Dude. Democratic presidential candidate John Hickenlooper confirmed Wednesday night during his CNN town hall event that he took his mom to watch an X-rated pornographic movie when he was younger, and that the two stayed for the entire film. Tell me again how President Trump is... Okay. He confirmed that the incident, which he wrote about in his memoir, happened when he returned home from college to visit his mom for Thanksgiving. Nothing says Thanksgiving like going to an adult film. His dad had passed away when he was 8 years old. He said that he didn't realize that his mom was lonely until he returned home from college. I promised. I called a friend in Philadelphia and we didn't know what an X movie was, he says. We thought it was a little naughty, but we didn't think it was that bad. You've got to understand, I was 18 years old, he said. Holy smokes. Okay, let's just say you didn't know. All right, he's an older dude. Let's just say you didn't know. All right. He also grew up in a time where they used to be in movie theaters. Okay, like not adult movie theaters, but regular movie theaters. I don't know, like the moment you get in there and you see what's happening, isn't there a little bit like, yo, I'm out, Mom. Later. Enjoy. I'm trying to figure out. I don't know. Seems a little weird to me. Let's see. He says, to her credit, the first scene, my mom was, I'm sure she was mortified. And I said repeatedly that I think we should leave. I think we should go. And my mom was the kind of person who rarely went to a movie. She thought almost every movie would get on TV. Obviously not this one. When she paid, she was going to stay. I'm just taking a 2-hour bathroom break. I'm out of there. The campaign ads that I could write against this guy. He's got no chance. Don't get me wrong. But the campaign ads that I could totally write against this guy. They have a video of him admitting it too. There ain't no way I'm playing that. Yeah, do with that information what you will, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy, have fun with it. I'm not going to get involved with it. All right, 574-25-95-95-3. That is 2595953. A couple of things that we have. We've got the Elkhart Mayor Tim Neese. He's got his final State of the State, or State of the City, excuse me. Not a Freudian slip there. It's State of Elkhart, whatever. So his State of the City, we had him do that address last night. We've also got a Indiana Senate panel. They have now approved a wrongful conviction bill. So this would compensate people who were wrongfully convicted in Indiana. Okay, so we'll talk about the details of that. And I know some of you think that nobody's ever wrongfully convicted. They're all innocent, Casey. They're all innocent. By the way, the Innocence Project, which is primarily based in Illinois, Michigan, and to a lesser extent, Indiana. I mean, they do a lot of good work in this region, and they've had a lot of people from Michigan released over the past couple of years. They have been at very good work doing that. If you want to watch the live stream, go to youtube.com/CaseyTheHost. You can also go to Facebook.com/CaseyTheHost. Share your stories of the times you went and saw an X-rated movie with your mom at Facebook.com/CaseyTheHost. If you want to follow me on Twitter at Casey the Host as well, although you'll only be allowed to follow me for a couple of months before Twitter deletes you from my followers list. More coming up next, 95.3 MNC.
WTRC-FM and HD1.
To all small business owners, and you're a small business owner, Casey.
What?
You're a small business owner,
yep.
Correct?
Yep.
If anybody ever tries to tell you that your prices are too high,
yep.
Remind them that Tiffany & Co. sells a single paperclip for $1,500 or $165, respectively. A single.
There's like 4 houses that just happen to be higher than the rest of town. Everybody else has got water.
Missouri, Nebraska, and Iowa. NOAA's spring outlook predicting flooding could continue into
It's all in the value of the beholder. Just saying.
It's a paperclip.
Maybe it's a really good paperclip.
It's labeled as a bookmark.
I got nothing. Usually when people tell me my prices are too high, I charge them more.
Let's tell your prices are too low.
Then I charge them more.
Free thought imposed total conformity and shut down the voices of great young Americans.
Some conservative groups say the order guarantees free expression, but many universities have pushed back, saying it's unnecessary due to existing policies. The order also seeks to provide better student loan information and repayment plans.
Bernal, thanks. Just getting word of a guilty plea from a Florida man accused of sending a wave of pipe bombs to prominent critics of President Trump and CNN. Cesar Sayoc just appearing before a federal judge in New York. He had been scheduled to go on trial this summer on charges of mailing explosives to 16 targets in all. No bombs exploded, but each new report of a device heightened the tension weeks before last year's midterm elections. This is Fox News.
This is Michiana's breaking news at weather station. Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, and 95.3 MNC.com.
I'm Tommy Lee in the News Center, and among our top stories this afternoon on 95.3 MNC, the minimum wage for Michigan employees is getting ready to jump at the end of next week.
On March 29th, the minimum wage in the Great Lakes state will go from $9.25 an hour to $9.45. Overtime requirements will remain the same under the improved Workforce Opportunity Wage Act. Employers in Michigan will still be allowed to pay minors who are 16 or 17 years old 85% of the minimum, which is an increase from $7.86 per hour to $8.03. The $4.25 an hour training wage for new hires remains the same.
95.3 MNC's Darren Wright reporting. Indiana State Police will be conducting sobriety checkpoints Friday night in Marshall and Whitley counties. The effort is part of Operation...
Nope. If it's construction, we typically don't mention it unless it's really causing delays.
Registrations available for troopers. State police troopers say the goal is to remove impaired drivers from the roadways to prevent property damage, injuries, and deaths. Legislation expected to become state law would give Indiana's coroners the option of using surgically inserted medical devices to identify bodies.
Senate members voted 48-0 Tuesday to advance the measure, which had cleared the House 97-1 in January. The legislation, supported by the Indiana Coroners Association, would allow county coroners to positively identify a corpse by matching a unique serial number of a surgically inserted medical device, such as a pacemaker or breast implant, with a manufacturer's record of who received the device. Under current Indiana law, the identification of a body is only valid if confirmed by fingerprints.
Elkhart could spend $75,000 on a parks master plan. So they'll just spend $75,000, but South Bend will spend $50 million, including $680,000 on a stupid boom box. $650,000, $608, whatever.
Now, your home comfort experts, heat specialists, first warning forecast.
5 ways to create and celebrate family traditions. Oh, God.
We could see a little drizzle or a flurry early Friday, but the big story for Friday is
5 reasons why Americans privately share their photos. Who the hell is writing for the truth now? The hell is this crap?
What?
Oh, they have a contract with Brandpoint. Okay, so the truth is taking syndicated content from Brandpoint, who writes stupid crap. Okay, I got it. 5 ways to create and celebrate family traditions. 5 top tips for low maintenance landscaping. 5 reasons why Americans privately share their photos. Yeah. So Elkhart's only spending $75K on their parks.
Located in South Bend, just east of Ironwood on Ireland Road, and Mishawaka off Edison Road, open at 7:30 a.m. to 7.
A homeless group is holding a backpack drive.
Like a group of homeless people, or
that's what it sounds like. It sounds like a bunch of homeless people are asking for backpacks, right? Good Lord. How about group holds backpack drive for the homeless? You know, rather than making it seem like a bunch of homeless people are asking for backpacks. What the hell? I don't think we still own them. Thank God.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's largest mortgage lender. Let's talk.
Mayoral candidates are to answer questions, and they show pictures of the 2 Democrats.
The average household in the U.S. carries over $8,000 in credit card debt. Ready for some good news? With a cash-out refinance from Quicken Loans, you can
5 ways to get kids excited about STEM learning.
good use by paying off a lot of that high.
I'll give you one. Blow something up. Worked for my daughter. Boom.
The rate today on our 30-year fixed rate.
5 ways to reduce food waste. Eat it.
4.78%.
Buy what you need.
100 Quicken to learn how taking cash out with a 30-year fixed mortgage might be the right.
Pro tips for living an RV lifestyle.
Only go to the bathrooms at rest stops.
5 tips to manage money better.
Call us today at
That's
800
not that
Quicken or go to Rocket Mortgage.
4 simple hacks to beat seasonal allergies. Medication.
How much more you can do for that?
8 ways to refresh your kitchen without a major renovation.
Clean.
Plastidip. It's all Plastidip. Oh my God.
We could do a whole show. We could do a whole, like, a half-hour segment.
I should just do a segment on this stupid headlines in local papers.
Be good.
No, it's the Elkhart Truth paper. Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. We could do a whole segment on this. I'm not going to, but we could. I'm reading through a local paper's headlines, and they're all mock-worthy, every single one of them, but go figure. All right, 574-25-95-95-3. That is 2595-953. You can also find us online at youtube.com/Casey the Host. We are live streaming. Also facebook.com/Casey the Host, where we're live streaming. And you can follow me on Twitter as well until Twitter kicks you off of my list. Let's see. I want to thank not Army Car Company, although they're awesome too. But Second Amendment Arms and Range, located in New Carlisle. They have 10 dedicated shooting lanes that are indoors, climate controlled. Okay, so you can go in, you can shoot rifle and pistol, and you get half off if you mention me. Less than 300 days left in office. Mayor Tim Neese vowed that his administration will not slow down and will continue to serve fully every day until it is time to pass the baton. There's another administration facing the same time frame that is not doing that next door. Starts with an S, has a B in it somewhere. Think their mayor's off gallivanting around the country or something. My administration is committed to a seamless transition. It will work from now until then to lay a solid foundation for the next person to carry on. With the right plans and systems in place, we are creating an energy that cannot be destroyed, regardless of leadership, and can be transferred for the betterment of this community. He's got a lot of faith in his energy. not being destroyed. He gave his final State of the City address on Tuesday evening before a crowd of city officials, business leaders, and local residents at the Lerner Theater Auditorium. He announced last year he would not seek re-election. You all know that. Much of his address outlined proactive steps that his administration was taking to facilitate growth of the community through motion making and place making, as well as work still being done. Motion making and place making. That's interesting concept. On the topic of industrial growth, he said that 16 of Elkhart's 18 base industries are related to RV manufacturing, who did not get the contract to make the giant boombox next door in South Bend, and account for approximately 34% of the city's employment. This industry cluster has served our community well and should be celebrated and supported, he said. Still, we must look for ways to diversify and reduce our vulnerability to fluctuations in the economy. He's right. Elkhart is perfect, actually, as a manufacturing hub in the Midwest if they would just take that approach. Recognizing this, the mayor said that he assembled a team of professionals to produce an economic growth case study of an established industrial area within the city. Now, that case study has laid the foundation for what will become the city of Elkhart's first economic growth plan, he said. Wow. Wait a minute. How old is Elkhart? Like more than a couple of years old, right? They have never had an economic growth plan put in place? What the heck are you doing? I mean, this is not on Nice. I mean, this is just... Wasn't Darth Maul... Not Darth Maul. Darth Moore? Wasn't Darth Moore? Freudian slip. Wasn't Darth Moore in his little Prius? His little Prius. How long was he in there? Like 20 years? Something like that? He didn't have an economic growth plan? What the heck are you doing? Oh my gosh, I can't believe that. Yes, I can. I can believe that. It'll all work out. I don't know. The first phase of the project identifies 3 growth objectives necessary to ensure Elkhart's future sustainability. By the way, make sure you head on out to Casey Does Elkhart on April 14th, Sunday. This includes economic diversification, talent attraction, and retention in land use and infrastructure. He also said that the River District Revitalization Plan is an excellent example of a project designed to address several challenges through the creation of an urban, walkable environment where people can live, work, and play, all in one neighborhood. Yeah, okay, cool. I have to see exactly how that all pans out, though. Sometimes those plans don't work out very well. Sometimes they work out amazingly. As for the projects this year, Nice said that the Beacon Health and Aquatics Center will open. Hundreds of new residents will have found a home in the Flaherty and Collins apartment development. Probably butchered the name on that. And Great Lakes Capital will have broken ground on the new Martin Supermarket and residential development. Lots of people chit-chatting with me about the Martin Supermarket in Elkhart going up. I've had a lot of you comment about that to me recently. A modernized streetscape will also be complete along Jackson Boulevard, Elkhart Avenue, Junior Achievement Drive, and Lexington Avenue. This has been an ambitious undertaking, he said, but we are already seeing tangible results. For every public dollar invested in the city, we have been able to leverage an additional $2.45 in private investments. If that's accurate, that's cool. Through 2022, Nice said that these combined investments will support 1,700 jobs and result in nearly $245 million in total economic impact. That's a guess, of course. Nobody really knows. Our community is clearly open for business, and people are excited to invest in Elkhart's bright future, he said. Now, of course, if you talk to the Democrats running for office right now, they say that none of that is true because we have to spend a ton more on the school system in Elkhart because the school system is kind of a disaster in Elkhart right now. And when I say disaster, I mean, Indiana standards disaster. Nationwide, it's still okay. And that's where that huge giant tax is coming in that a lot of people are not real happy about. There's really 2 philosophies when it comes to that sort of thing. One is if we pay them more, they'll just do their jobs better. And the other is, well, they're not doing their jobs very good now. I'm not going to pay them more. So you have that conflict of not desires of outcome, because everybody desires a good educational system. You have that conflict of how to achieve that. And that's typically where you'll find the political right, the political left when it comes to education is, the political right wants teachers to earn it. The political left wants you to pay the teachers so they actually want to earn it. which seems counterproductive, but I'm on the political right. So, you know, I've never seen somebody who's not very good at their job or lazy at their job. And I'm not saying the teachers in Elkhart are okay. I'm just saying in general, I've not seen somebody who is lazy at their job and not good at their job perform their job better because you gave them more money. I've never seen that. Typically, it's the other way around. Neese also mentioned the hiring of Randy Norton as superintendent at the Elkhart Parks and Recreation Department. Norton will be responsible for planning and managing activities for the city's 26 parks. No word yet on if he's going to rent Boomer from the city of South Bend. Although I did see that Elkhart is going to invest $75,000 in their parks, not $50 million. So there's that. A little bit more budget-friendly minded in the city of Elkhart. This also includes seeking ways to reopen the Tolson Center. New plans for the Tolson Center, by the way, released this week. The center closed in July, but reopened for a basketball rental program announced in December. Summer camp youth program this year will also be the first offering in the city since the community center closed last year after they found a bunch of people basically not managing the funds appropriately. I'm just doing a nice little grin there. The mayor also said in previous reports that plans for the center's future are still being assessed, but the summer camp program is an important step. On the issue of public safety, which of course everybody is talking about in Elkhart these days, he said the Elkhart Police Department in 2018 saw slight decreases in some crime categories and slight increases in others, pretty similar to other municipalities in Michiana. Since implementing his first budget as mayor, which included significant increases in police personnel and resources, he has said that the city has experienced a 17% overall reduction in major crime categories. Again, some of those increased, some of them decreased, but the overall number is 17% decline. So, all right, there you go. That's your final State of the City address from Mayor Neese in the city of Elkhart. And now the search for his replacement will commence. And I think there's, 2 or 3 Democrats running and then like 1 or 2 Republicans right now. So it'll be real interesting to see how that one turns out. Of course, South Bend is what, a lot of people are going to focus on, but Elkhart's going to be extremely important. They're very important for Michiana's economy, far more important for Michiana's economy, I think, than the city of South Bend is, but they don't get the credit for it. All right, we got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrick.
Did you do that corn read?
Did you tell me to do a corn read?
I did.
I don't remember that.
I did.
At all. Don't remember it.
Well, you need to do one, and then press read.
I did see an article the other day that said Wilt Chamberlain was the best. Wilt Chamberlain's great. He had a significant advantage based on the quality of player that he played against, though. I wouldn't mind seeing peak Chamberlain versus peak Jordan. That'd be a fun game.
Sunday up to 54, partly cloudy, increasing clouds with a chance of rain late Sunday night and into early Monday morning. Monday mostly cloudy with a high of 44, looking sunny on Tuesday with a high of 42. In the ABC 57 first warning neighborhood.
All these pictures of Mickey Mouse with the Infinity Gauntlet with all the companies they own at the stores.
Say it again.
All the pictures like this.
Oh, yeah. I'm not even a basketball guy. I don't even know how the hell this basketball thing happened. Oh, yeah, the bracket conversation. That's why.
It's time for the taste of craft beer. Chris's Craft Corner with Chris Turnblom.
Welcome to Chris's Craft Corner. Let's have a beer. Today we're going to have a
Tell me what to do, Chris. Don't tell me what to do.
A double IPA. It's weird. There's no standard definition for what that is out there, but for me personally, if I see double IPA in the label, I'm expecting a lot more hop flavor, a lot stronger bitterness, a lot stronger aroma, and I'm also going to expect a higher ABV. And with Chill Wave, what you're going to get is a 9% ABV, 80 IBUs. They want to name Chill Wave in honor of, they call it a small but dedicated group of surfers that surf on the North Coast in Cleveland whenever the sun's out, regardless of water temperature. So when recommending food pairings, they put grilled lamb, fruity desserts, and a good wetsuit so that you can stay somewhat warm. That's where show wave comes from, but this one's not for the faint of heart. It's a little bigger than
Is Capitol Bridge restricted after 5 today? I don't know.
double IPA, but this one's phenomenal. They use a high malt base.
Is it?
So when you're talking 9% ABV, 80 IBUs, you're thinking super bitter double IPA. And yes, there's a strong hop flavor. But again, the most important thing with any IPA, it has to be balanced. And they nailed it with this one. You get such a strong hop flavor, but right when you're expecting that the super bitterness in the back end, that's when the honey malt kicks in and the sweetness really balances it out to make it a smooth flavor from start to finish. Go out and catch a wave, grab a chill wave from Great Lakes Brewery. Thanks for listening to Chris's Craft Corner.
Why is this a top story on Channel 22? MSNBC host tweet compares Buttigieg to Obama.
And listen to Chris's Craft Corner on
Local.
MNC.
Hi, I'm Dwayne Miller with Good Faith Management, and I buy houses cash.
Where's my tweet comparing him to an idiot?
And for a fair price,
That's local too.
574-621-3277. I can pay cash in as little as 7 days.
They must not follow
I buy
you.
houses in any condition, any
Oh, I'm shocked.
and in any
Shocked.
location. I am not a realtor or associated with any realty company. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more.
Thank you, Al. Appreciate it.
574-621-3277. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind them payment houses. I even buy my tenant will pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying damaged houses too. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned.
It's our test. Bavarian. 236.
277.
Straight from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The Temptations, the soulful sound that started it all. A night of harmony with the legends of Motown. The Mighty Temptations. April 7th at the Lerner Theater. Tickets on sale now at thelerner.com or by calling 574-293-4469. Don't miss The Temptations, April 7th at the Lerner Theater in Elko.
Money is South Bend, and it's a lease purchase. They say it's already paid for. Okay, then why is it a lease? And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. We will be in the club tomorrow, Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill, for Pass the Mic. But I got to tell you about Corehorn Financial Group. All right, so here's the deal. It's tax season, right? And I know I've already made my appointments and all of that. And I use Corehorn Financial Group for my personal and my business taxes, by the way. And I have for several years now. Been very, very happy with them. In fact, they have helped me avoid the ACA penalty every single year, which has been a tremendously helpful thing for me to do. And a lot of people are not able to figure that stuff out. And so sometimes you end up paying more in taxes than you really owe. Sometimes you pay too little and the IRS comes back at you. And then sometimes, as we have had some listeners comment to us, you feel like you get ripped off by another tax preparer and you want a second opinion, but you don't really know where to go. Corehorn Financial Group will do all of that, plus much more. Pretty much anything that involves your overall financial picture, they can help you with. Whether that is doing your taxes, planning your withholdings, your 401k investments, your retirement planning, kids' college planning, all of that and so much more. That's all done under one roof at Corehorn Financial Group. And if you go to Corehorn.com, that's Korhorn, Corehorn.com, you can find the location nearest you, make an appointment. And when you go in, just let them know that I sent you over there. Again, Corehorn Financial Group, website is Korhorn.com. All right, Florida man has pled guilty to mailing those bombs to Trump foes. I know a lot of you don't buy this story. Seems a little odd and weird. I'm just saying because I'm only giving that disclaimer because I know that you're going to send me emails. A Florida man pled guilty Thursday to sending a wave of pipe bombs to CNN and prominent critics of President Donald Trump. Of course, none of those bombs were designed to actually go off. Let's see. Attacks that harmed no one but created fear as the devices turned up day after day at locations across the country. Cesar Sayoc sobbed as he entered the plea before the federal judge in New York. I'm truly sorry, he said. He faces the possibility of a life sentence on 65 criminal counts, including using weapons of mass destruction and illegal mailing of explosives with intent to kill. Like I said, isn't it interesting how the definition of weapon of mass destruction keeps fluctuating and changing from what it used to be considered? The hunt for the bomber began on October 22nd when a device was discovered in a mailbox at an estate in New York City's northern suburbs owned by the billionaire George Soros, a liberal political activist, etc. A device addressed to the Clintons was discovered the following day. Following a day later, a slew of homemade pipe bombs found at homes or offices of prominent Democrats. One addressed to former CIA Director John Brennan was also sent to CNN in New York. Now, again, it's important you understand none of these devices were functional. Okay, they were designed to scare. They weren't designed to actually hurt anybody. Now, I'm not saying that that is an excuse. I'm just letting you know when they run around and say pipe bombs, a lot of people are like, oh, he's trying to blow people up. He wasn't actually trying to blow people up. Of course, he had the van that had all of the Trump stuff on there. The van had been known about for some time. It had actually been the subject of a local news story at one point in time. A lot of people felt that the van was too neatly done. I don't know. There was a lot of weird things that were going on with this particular case. CNN filming them opening the suspicious package in their break room was really odd. It was very, very strange because nobody does that ever. As somebody who has received a suspicious package before, I can tell you that that is not how things go. Nobody gathers around and says, all right, let's record this because this might be a suspicious package. Everybody get as close to the suspicious package as possible. And then when you open it, everybody takes off except for the camera guy who sits there and films. Yeah, no, just really, really weird. Over several days, investigators tracked the packages to a mailing center in Florida because, of course, it's Florida. Prosecutors said that the evidence against Sayoc included DNA linking him to 10 of the explosive devices and fingerprints on 2 of them. Without a plea deal, Sayoc faced charges carrying a potential penalty of a mandatory life in prison. So now he has pled guilty, so he has the chance of not spending life in prison. Others targeted by the mailings included former Vice President Joe Biden, Kamala Harris in California, and Cory Booker in New Jersey. So he has pled guilty to all of that today. And I think that was this morning that he pled guilty to that. So there you go. A lot of people have been asking me, whatever happened with that case? Anyway, well, there you go. He's pled guilty. Now he's facing up to life in prison. All right, 574-2595, 95.3. That's 2595953. Indiana Senate panel has okayed compensation for the wrongfully convicted in the state of Indiana. And some interesting aspects of this. So the Indiana panel gave its approval to a bill that would compensate Hoosiers found to have been wrongfully convicted and imprisoned. The Senate Corrections and Criminal Law Committee made minor revisions to the House-approved legislation on Tuesday before voting 7-0 in favor of it. Another Senate panel will next consider the bill. Indiana is one of 17 states that provides no compensation for people exonerated of crimes. And that shouldn't even... You should not have to have a law on the books to compensate somebody who's been wrongfully convicted. Like, that seems so stupid to me. Now, of course, you can still sue. The problem is you get through the court process and a judge says, well, we're not required to pay you anything, so sorry. Let's see. The legislation would generally permit a person who is convicted of a crime he or she did not commit and later is exonerated to receive $50,000 for each year that they were wrongfully incarcerated, which I think is too low, by the way. To receive the money, individuals would have to dismiss any existing civil lawsuit or agree not to sue the state, a local government, or any public official or employee. Man, I have such problems with this stuff. If you are an innocent person who's scooped up by law enforcement, you're put on trial, you're convicted, you're sent to prison 10, 20 years, whatever it ends up being, I think you should be able to sue the snot out of anybody involved. Sorry. I just do. And I get the government has to protect its coffers and there's a responsibility to the taxpayers, but there's also a responsibility to the taxpayers. You're not going to throw innocent people in prison. And if you leave these penalties open for really painful judgments in that individual's favor, perhaps you will be more likely to have prosecutors only prosecute cases that should be prosecuted. That's the idea behind them. And this happens way too much. I've covered cases where people have gotten out of prison after 20 years and they got like $50,000 and that's it. And it's like their whole life is gone. Their entire life is gone. They have to rebuild on this tiny little chicken scratch sort of money that's been given to them, which I'm sure is taxed, by the way. And they've lost this entire thing. You go looking for a job. Hey, where you been? Oh, wrongfully convicted for the past 20 years. So you've got no skills then that work in the modern workplace. Nope, nothing at all. So you're back to what, washing windows, being a janitor, that sort of thing. And hey, at least you got $50,000 in your pocket, right? Well, I mean, minus the taxes that you have to pay for that. So I have a real problem. $50,000 each year is not even the average salary. So I would like to see it a heck of a lot more than that. So of course, the government's position is, well, we're trying to replace income that you would have made. So around 50,000 is around the average. It's lower than the average, but it's around it. Yeah, but what about all the time away from their family? What about all the other stuff besides just allow them to pursue people that can be shown to have been negligent in their case? Okay, if the prosecutor is not negligent, but the prosecutor is just going by the evidence that they were given, that's one thing. But if they can prove that somebody was negligent in a case, they should be able to sue that entity in addition to having this money. But instead, they're being required to waive their rights to go after individuals for larger sums based on taking this deal, and I don't think that's appropriate either. We've got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. MNC News Time is 5:31. Time to check out Masters Heating and Air Conditioning online at mastersheatcool.com. Masters gets there faster.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station.
Exactly, Warren. How about this? It's sad that we live in a place, well, I should say, it's sad that we live in a time where people don't know how to operate a damn smoke alarm. Think about it. Like the easiest device in the world to operate.
What's going on? There's not really a fire.
Press the button, put the damn battery in. You see my post on the Niles Walmart today? So I go to the Niles Walmart today, and I go to the Krispy Kreme donut section in the back.
Mm-hmm. Right.
There is a bra and panty set that has been laid down.
Yes.
That's a hell of a decision. Bra and panties to look sexy for somebody, or donuts? Nope, going with donuts today. It's hysterical. I mean, of all things to leave at the donut section, the bra and panties. What the hell did I tease today? Alzheimer's.
Chef Sean works with every week. The time of the year and its mood will always satisfy your taste buds. Visit Tuesday nights for half price.
Well, of course, it's not in my show prep, even though I saved it.
Visit Thursdays to check out Roman's ridiculous list, or upgrade your evenings Tuesdays through Saturdays with the atmosphere of Denver Grill, with a perfect backdrop for any occasion. Reservations required, 21 and up. Explore our menu, buy gift cards, or make a simple dinner reservation at tempergranger.com. Unplug and relax with a truly unforgettable dining experience. Because life is too short and the food is too good to break bread in a bad mood. Temper Grill, food with attitude.
From the Fox Business Network, on Wall Street, stocks ending higher, led by gains in Apple, with the Dow closing up 217 points, the Nasdaq up 110, S&P 500 up 31. And after the closing bell, Nike reporting earnings and revenue in line with Wall Street expectations. And shares of Biogen losing more than a quarter of its value today after the drug maker said it would discontinue trials of its Alzheimer's drug, which is a setback to efforts to find treatments for the disease. The news sending the stock plunging more than 28%, with Biogen losing about $18 billion in market value. And a return to Wall Street by iconic jeans maker Levi Strauss. Its shares closing up nearly 32% above its initial price offering of $17, giving the company a market value of over $8.5 billion. The 165-year-old company returning to the public market after descendants of company founder Levi Strauss took the jeans company private back in 1985. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Hillary Barsky.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. 30% of Americans who are planning home improvements of $5,000 or more will pay for those renovations with a high-interest credit card. That may not be a great idea. A better idea may be to take cash out of your home with a Quicken Loans 30-year fixed-rate mortgage.
All right.
The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 4.5%, APR 4.78%. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Rate subject to change. 2% fee received as discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. License in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
My name is Hendrickson. I've been selling new cars at Lockman Motors for over 30 years.
And I'm Greg Slable. I've been selling pre-owned vehicles at Lockman Motors for 16 years.
Greg and I have been working together a long time, and every year there's a lot of excitement at tax time.
Yeah, that's right. We have so many vehicles we are running out of places to park.
We have a tremendous offering of new Jeep, Ram, Chrysler, Dodge, Buick, and GMC models. We only stock the best and most desirable from these premium brands.
We have all makes and models of pre-owned vehicles, something for every need and every budget.
There are a lot of options for what you can do with your tax return.
Grandma's in the house.
Motors is the best way to make that dollar go further and get more for your money.
Using that money as a down payment lowers your monthly payment. You could be driving something newer.
Oh, I'm tired.
Lockman Motors values of honesty and integrity are evident to customers and employees alike. That's why
Tomorrow's a long day. Every Friday is, but now I got past the mic too.
I'm Dave Anderson. And I'm Greg Slable. It's Lockman Motors in Elkhart, a tradition of caring since 1954.
They're going to get through the remains of Forest River next week, by the way. Start investigating it. Well, they're going to go through the remains of it next week. A second wiretapping lawsuit has been filed against New Carlisle. Fun. See, this crap in South Bend is allowing everybody to do this.
To do the job right. Watch as the Crispin crew delivers the highest quality work quickly, professionally.
Well, if they can do it, then we can do it too. You're not supposed to record private conversations. Don't. It's not a private conversation if it's government property, you idiot. Stop.
For your free estimate, or visit CrispinCustomPainting.com. Crispin Custom Painting.
Talk radio that talks with you, not at you. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. I want to thank our sponsors, Second Amendment Arms and Range. Mention me, get half off your range time, 10% off in the store, and listener-exclusive discounts on firearms. Go to secondamendmentarms.net for more information about that. Of course, you just heard the Fox News break. They were talking about Biogen. Biogen has stopped their Alzheimer's drug trial. It failed. It's another devastating blow in the search for a treatment for patients living with Alzheimer's disease. Pharmaceutical giant Biogen and his Japanese partner, EISAI, announced Thursday that they were halting two phase 3 clinical trials of the drug that targets the buildup in the brain of beta amyloid, one of the two proteins that researchers believe contributes to the development of Alzheimer's. The drug called aducanumab, whatever, I don't know. Y'all are ridiculous with your names. Stop it. Was the most promising candidate in the field that has been littered with failures. It was so promising that the company was running 2 phase 3 trials simultaneously, according to the neurologist in charge. This was the closest to the finish line, and early results showed not only could we improve cognitive function, but also get rid of the amyloid in the brain. This was the most hopeful thing that we had. In fact, I have patients who are in the study, patients that are waiting to get into the trials. This one hurts. Alzheimer's patients just can't get a break, they said. So it failed. It didn't do what they thought it was going to do. And now I think the stocks have dropped like 30 some odd % or something like that. I don't know why they would drop. It's still obviously a pharmaceutical giant. They're still going to develop, good drugs. It's just, this is an experimental drug on a disease that nobody has a cure for. I mean, there's going to be failures and setbacks. I don't know why people are freaking out about it, but I digress. So that's not actually the story that I teased yesterday. So I was teasing a different story out of the Los Angeles Times. The often discouraging search for ways to prevent or treat Alzheimer's disease may have flickered to life this week with a bright new idea. This is totally separate from the Biogen thing. So the Biogen thing failing and the trial ending today, pure coincidence that I was talking about this other story. Okay, that's just pure coincidence. In experiments conducted on mice, scientists used light and sound to orchestrate a series of episodes that were marked by an unusual state of electronic synchrony inside the animal's brains, prompted by a gently flickering light and a pulsating buzz, both timed to fire 40 times per second. Their brains began to hum to the same frequency. Now, the results published this week in the journal Cell are already yielding some powerful insights about what may go wrong in Alzheimer's disease and how that process might be halted or even reversed. Now, we've done a lot of shows about the garbage research that ends up in scientific journals, so take this with a grain of salt, but I'm passing it on to you. Experts said that the new research could spawn a new class of medical devices that treat Alzheimer's in ways that experimental drugs have so far failed to do. Whether the strategy called gamma oscillation entrainment is as effective in people as it appears to be in mice will soon be tested in patients with mild to moderate disease symptoms. So this is getting ready to be tested on human patients. So again, Biogen just stopped their Alzheimer's treatment. This one is getting ready to start theirs on new Alzheimer's patients, okay? It will also be tried on people with mild cognitive impairment, a condition that is often a prelude to Alzheimer's. Those trials are sponsored by Cognito Therapeutics, a startup which is co-founded by MIT neuroscientist Li Hu Tsai, a senior author of the new study. Cognito president Zach Malcano said that the company's first 3 trials will explore the therapy's safety as well as its effectiveness. He hopes to run those trials and present their early findings within the next year. Next would come a large-scale trial of gamma stimulation therapy using a wearable device that would let subjects administer the experimental treatment themselves. Presumably, that way they could do it at home. The success of the new strategy in humans is a big if, Tsai acknowledged. So they're not... This is something you actually want to see when it comes to this, is you want the people doing the research going, we're not sure if this is going to work, but we think we see some promise, we're going to try it. Not a whole, we have a cure, and sometimes you get that. You go, wow, this is amazing. This is awesome. This could be the next big thing. They're not doing that here. They're just saying, in mice, this seems to be effective, so we're going to try it in humans and see what happens. When it comes to treating brain disease, plenty of therapies that worked on mice have not proven effective in people. He actually says the record is not very good. Now, again, he directs MIT's Pekauer Institute for Memory and Learning. So he's also an MIT guy. And so we're not dealing with somebody who, you know, wouldn't be considered elite in their field. This strategy has an advantage that drugs, implants, and surgical procedures do not. Okay, my apologies. Without ever breaching the skin, it appears to recruit special cells to do their healing work inside of the brain. In thousands of mice, there's been no evidence of unwanted side effects, they've said. So one door closes, another one opens. So today, Biogen again announces that they're ending their Alzheimer's drug trial. Now we have new trials that are starting that deal with light and sound to treat Alzheimer's. In the meantime, though, I have, sometimes people forget big events, right? Right, Joe? Like anniversaries and birthdays, stuff like that. There's a surefire way to make the absolute anger, which is justifiable at you, go away. That is to go get an amazing piece of jewelry at Impress Jewelry Creations. So you walk right into Impress, and you know what? You can be perfectly honest with them. They go, hey, what are you here for today? How can we help you? And you go, I done forgot my anniversary. And they will direct you towards some of their higher end stuff because that's a doozy. And you will be able to get a pristine, one-of-a-kind piece that you can only get at Impress Jewelry Creations, made from some of the most exotic and high-quality materials available in the entire world, sometimes the universe, because they have a lot of materials that actually come from outer space that you can't get anywhere else. So it's really cool when you see that stuff, by the way. And you are able to go ahead and purchase those items and then make your significant other feel much better about you forgetting that significant day. So ladies, when you do inevitably forget the anniversary, go to Impress Jewelry Creations, go to the William Henry Collection, and get your man something that is stunning. They've got knives made from mammoth bone and just some of the most unique and rare materials found on Earth. And we all know that women have a problem with forgetting anniversaries. So William Henry Collection, Impress Jewelry Creations, trust me, your guy's going to be thrilled with what you get him. Go to Impress Jewelry Creation. And again, they're located on University next to Temper Grill. Make sure you let them know that I sent you, and you are absolutely going to love their selection. You got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
All right, cool. We're caught up now on break on the leads because you have a thermodyne coming on at this break.
Okay.
That's why I had to do Impress now.
Aye.
All right.
Weather served up by the Prime Table Restaurant in Niles. Is your family or group for breakfast, lunch, or dinner? Just call the Prime Table to reserve a table for your next gathering.
Now, your home comfort experts, heating specialist, 5-day forecast.
A blustery end to the week.
Please remember to record top 10.
What?
We'll see gusts up to 30 miles per hour and temperatures struggle to reach 40.
Casey, please remember to record.
Please remember to record something
Top
that isn't
tank
in front of
bus trip Primo emailed you earlier today.
me. Email.
Thank you.
Oh, it was emailed. Okay.
Increasing clouds with a chance of rain late Sunday night and into early Monday
Do
morning.
you have a
Monday
response for
mostly
him?
cloudy with a high of 44.
I don't do email.
Sunny on Tuesday with a high of 42. In the ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist.
I'll get it in there.
The top news stories.
There is absolutely no evidence that Paul Manafort was involved with any collusion. The federal judge said that clearly those guidelines were out of whack.
Out of whack?
Out of whack. That's whack, Jack.
Issuing document requests
Don't do
to
it.
60 different people and individuals. When they look at it, they just say presidential harassment.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
I would love to go home and go to bed, but I am not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Every time with an X mark. The Morris Lance
I'm sure I'm going to have to go home and fix her car, and then I've got to do some other work, and do some other work. And, ugh.
Popular zero-turn models, each packed with Exmark's legendary innovation, durability, reliability, and comfort.
I could use some sleep. I'm exhausted.
At Weaver Ag and Lawn Equipment in South Bend.
X mark. Ready to work for you. Now you can get a great looking cut in less time every time with an X mark. The Morris Landscape Pros trust 2-1 over the next best-selling brand of mowers.
For a limited time, Exmark is offering great incentives on Quest zero-turn riders, starting as low as $29.99. Check out all the special Exmark deals today at Weaver Ag and Lawn Equipment in South Bend.
I didn't do a Menendez last night, Bill. I got home late and then was immediately thrust into another project, and I didn't get the Menendez stuff up yesterday. So life got in the way.
And the ring is with Bobby. Honestly, it's your mother I'm worried about. When you announce the engagement,
Oh, that's bull, Linda. I've got firsthand experience of women forgetting anniversaries and not men.
perfect. She's getting ready now, and I'm sure she's a hot mess.
Dad, don't worry. I sent her to Judy's.
From mother of the intended.
Ooh, Mike too.
Mm-hmm. Special occasions.
Mm-hmm.
Through top designers with specially trained associates. Judy Girls, who provide personal color and style analysis. And few one-of-a-kind dresses, like Molcherie Komarov, that can't be found anywhere else in the area. The Judy Girls won't let you leave the store without something that doesn't look just right. Judy's, it's the best brands for the best you. With locations in LaPorte, Granger, and now open in Valparaiso.
Northern Indiana, Southern Michigan, Western Ohio. It's time for Thaw and All. Championship bowling in Spain, the Michiana Event Center. For the first ever NTP.
I didn't know Condoleezza Rice was at Notre Dame on Tuesday.
Who?
Condoleezza Rice. Her and John Kerry were at Notre Dame on Tuesday.
Cool.
How to give money advice that sticks.
Don't read it online.
Don't give money advice unless you're a professional.
What's the difference between a bed from
Also, in other news, the Dodge new Hellcat is out with 707 horsepower stock.
Does it have back seats? Which car is it? The Hellcat? Which one? Because they got Hellcat versions of 3 cars.
The principal of Stoneman Douglas is under investigation.
Good.
Get breaking news
There's
and weather
my
online
playing
from
Twitter.
newstalk.com. From Newstalk 95.3 News Channel. Your breaking news.
Facebook says its service is hindered by a lack of local news reporting. And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Got to tell you about Data Bunker. So here's the deal. Go to databunker1.com. That's the number 1. Okay. And on that website, they have videos up there. It kind of shows you what Data Bunker is, how it works. But they also have all of the testing that they have done on Data Bunker. So I want you to think of this. This is a black box you would see in a train or a plane, but it is made for consumers. So it is scaled down. It is easily portable. You can put it in a briefcase. It is TSA approved for travel. But this device is fireproof. It is hack proof because it doesn't connect to the network. Okay. So when they say hack proof, it means something that is not connected to the cloud that can be hacked remotely. But now, obviously, if you connect it, you have to take precautions if you're going to do that. But this is not putting your files in the cloud where you're at risk of somebody stealing your files, your proprietary technology, or your recipe, or whatever. If you're a government contractor and you're trying to make sure that a vendor or something of that nature is going to be able to go ahead and have access to those files, you don't want to put them in the cloud because, again, they can be compromised. The competition can get them, a foreign government can get them, and all of those things are huge risks to national security. So you can put them on a data bunker, you can fly out there, you can go ahead and get it to them, and they'll be able to go ahead and connect to the device. This is a tornado-proof, crush-proof, water-resistant, and nuclear EMP tested device. It is made with clean electronics right here in the United States of America. In fact, it is made right here in Elkhart. Wish the city of South Bend had bought a data bunker instead of a giant boom box. Would have been better. Then we wouldn't have lost our police tapes, everybody. We'd have them right there. Just saying. Go to databunker1.com. Take a look at all of the amazing tests that they have done on this thing and how it survived those tests. Keep in mind that those tests were done on the exact same device. They were not done on different devices. So that device, Data Bunker, survived all of those tests concurrently. Go to databunker1.com. Use coupon code Casey, that's CASEY, to save yourself some money on your very own data bunker, where you can pick your color. I have the Army Green version. People have asked me, do you really have one of those? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. All right. What do we have here? Local government is suing the owner of a Flintstones replica house. It's actually a pretty cool house. Last week, a small, wealthy Bay Area town of Hillsboro filed a lawsuit against the owner of a local Flintstones replica house, arguing that several metal dinosaurs and a giant Yabba Dabba Doo sign on the property were added without permission and constitute a public nuisance. It's a lot of things that are public nuisances. I don't think metal dinosaurs are one of them. Originally built in the freewheeling 1970s, Hillsboro Flintstone House has long been a source of controversy from neighbors who did not care for its unique aesthetic and who reportedly created the town's architecture review board to stop future cartoon-themed homes from popping up. Since the 70s, they've been arguing about this. You fickle prudes. In 2017, the house was purchased by Florence Fang, a prominent Bay Area entrepreneur and former publisher of the San Francisco Examiner, who shortly thereafter began a series of alterations to the property with wanton disregard for permitting requirements or Hillsboro's voluminous zoning code. Good for them. This included the addition of several dinosaur statues and a sign bearing Fred Flintstone's famous catchphrase, as well as more traditional improvements like a parking strip, a deck, a gate, things that a house needs. Fang reportedly did all of this without seeking the required permits, probably made the absurd assumption that it was his property and to do whatever the heck he wants. In January, July, and August of 2018, she received 3 separate stop work orders, all of which she ignored. In October of that year, the town government fined Fang $200 and ordered her to remove the dinosaurs from her property. She paid the fine, did not remove the dinosaurs. I like her. Now the town is suing. In a complaint filed last week, the town government declares Fang's metal dinosaurs and Flintstones sign to be, quote, high visible eyesore and are out of keeping, order requiring Fang to remove her various landscaping improvements from the property. It is also demanding Fang cover the city's legal fees for all of this. Attempts to reach Fang for comment were unsuccessful, assuming the claims in Hillsboro lawsuit are accurate. She did indeed ignore the town's land use regulations. That's really more cause for praise than anything else, Reason.com writes. One of the beautiful things about private property is the freedom it allows for people to express themselves. Zoning codes and residential design guidelines quash that freedom by dictating what homes have to look like. I miss the old days. What's interesting about this? We drive around to some of these old areas and we look around at these homes. We're like, man, that home is awesome. Can never be built today. Couldn't be built today because it doesn't look like the cookie cutter garbage that we have now. So I like seeing homes with character. Although, again, I'm from Las Vegas, so I guess there's a little bit of that in me. Las Vegas is known for those cookie cutter homes, but in the older areas of the city where you don't have the HOAs and stuff like that, you get some really cool designs. I like seeing stuff with character, but apparently the people of Hillsboro do not. So good for her. I hope she wins. If nothing else, it sets up a court case. Maybe she can get some private property rights restored in that particular area, since it seems that a lot of these codes were only put in place after this house was originally made to try and stem it from becoming more of an eyesore, air quote, to the neighbors than they wanted before. But I'm hoping that she wins. All right, Hannity's coming up next. Thank you for joining us. Go to youtube.com/Casey the host. You can watch the live stream again and again and again and again. Give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful night.
There's an way of doing things. Honest communication, a handshake. Then you roll up your sleeves and get to work. Day in and day out, from pouring the concrete to placing the steel columns, the very foundation of your build is built by who take pride in their work. For more than 40 years, Mid-States Construction has rolled up their sleeves, never wavering on their values and a mission to build their community. And not just building for commercial and industrial.
All right.
Building relationships.
Pass the mic tomorrow, yo. 12 o'clock. Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill. It's going to be a moderately good time with great food. So I look forward to seeing you out there. Again, some people hate my guts, said that they might show up. Probably keyboard warriors. I'm sure that they're too chicken to actually show up, but it would be great if they did. I invited them. I was like, it's an open forum. Come on out there. I have some questions or some words for him. All right, cool. Be there at noon. We'll see if that actually happens. So Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill tomorrow starts at noon. Pass the mic. Usually goes till about 1:30 or so. And I look forward to having it. Next event after that is Casey does Elkhart. That happens the day after the bus trip to go see Tommy Lahren and Buck Sexton for WoWo. I'm doing the commercial for that here actually in just a couple of minutes, so stay tuned for that information because we're not taking very many of you with us. So it's going to be a very premium package, which, by the way, involves lunch at Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill before we head down to Fort Wayne to go see Tommy Lahren and Buck Sexton. So kind of bummed that I don't get to hang out with Buck Sexton like I usually do, but still going to be a blast taking a bunch of listeners down there and hopefully getting an opportunity to maybe do a little bit of a meet and greet. We'll see. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that for everybody because they have their VIPs that they have to accommodate as well. But look for that. So, okay, pass the mic tomorrow. April 13th, taking a bus of people to go see Tommy Lahren and Buck Sexton. April 14th, the next day, Casey does Elkhart. And then I think I'm done for April. I've got a Memorial Day thing in May. So I think we're good. All right. Have a good night. Awkward music, awkward music. Awkward music for you.